Nationwide 90 FM.
Nationwide 90 FM, the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clarke. On Tuesday, March 12, Dr. Clarke will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2024 to 2025. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke's opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 12, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 12.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
The all-new 2023 Ford Everest is here. An off-road capable 7-seater with exquisite style and more technology. Get everything you're looking for in an SUV. Book your new Everest today.
The temperature by KIG Ford is
30 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
News at 5 teasers are brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Norigay Banton.
In Nationwide News at this hour, Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald found guilty of the July 2020 murder of his second wife, Tonia Hamilton MacDonald.
DPP Paul Llewellyn hails the guilty verdict against Beachy Stout and his co-accused Oscar Barnes.
Justice, I believe, was certainly done.
But one of Oscar Barnes' lawyers, Vincent Wellesley, is disappointed with the guilty verdict.
I do not believe that the evidence was sufficient for them to have returned with such a verdict.
The alleged trigger man who killed Philip Paulwell's daughter and her mother, Tashina Patterson, has been served with a death penalty notice.
Mark Barnett remains in the job as NWC president 4 months after efforts began to separate him from the entity.
In news from the rest of the world, Haiti gang leader threatens civil war if PM does not resign.
Trump and Biden rematch looms as both win big on Super Tuesday.
In sports, Jamaica beats Leeward Islands for second straight victory in regional women's cricket.
And later on our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald and his co-accused Oscar Barnes have been found guilty of the murder of Tonia Hamilton MacDonald. Robian Williams was in court and she'll join us. We'll also get a reaction from DPP Paul Llewellyn.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what is your reaction to the JLP's Winston Ennis withdrawing his decision to leave the party? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. Message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
And at 7 this evening, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights says the situation in Haiti is beyond untenable as gang leader Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier warns that there'll be a civil war if the Prime Minister does not step down. Haitian human rights activist Pascala Solage will join us.
And at 8, it's Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings Weathers.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Wednesday afternoon, it's Wednesday, March 6, 2024.
News at 5 teasers were brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald has been found guilty of the July 2020 murder of his second wife, Tonia Hamilton MacDonald. A 7-member jury returned a unanimous guilty verdict this afternoon in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston. Noragay Banton reports.
The 7-member jury of 3 women and 4 men was this afternoon instructed by Justice Chester Stamp to deliberate and return a verdict. Justice Stamp told the jurors at 19 minutes after 2 this afternoon to take as long as they wish. He informed them that they're not under any pressure with time. At 3:24 p.m., just 1 hour and 5 minutes later, the jury had reached its verdict. Guilty. It was unanimous. Beachy Stout's co-accused Oscar Barnes was also found guilty in connection with the murder. For the charge of conspiracy to murder, Beachy Stout and Barnes were found guilty. Tonia's mother, who was present in the courtroom as the verdicts were being read, broke down in tears. As the verdict was being read, Beachy Stout stared straight ahead. His lower lip trembled. Beachy Stout and Barnes have been on trial in the Home Circuit Court since September 2023. Tonia's partially burnt body was found in her car, which had been set ablaze in Sherwood Forest, Portland, on July 20, 2020. Her body had multiple stab wounds and her throat was slashed. The men will be sentenced on May 16. Noragay Banton for Nationwide News.
Justice was certainly done. Those were the words of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, in reacting to the unanimous guilty verdict. The DPP had words of praise for the investigators, her Deputy Director and co-counsel for their work.
Well, first of all, my commendations to the police investigators who prepared a good case, good investigation, and they worked with the senior prosecutors from this office to assist with negotiating a plea deal with the main witness, Mr. Minot. And commendations, great commendations to my Deputy Director and my Crown Counsel, Ms. Sophia Rowe and Mr. Luke Cook.
The DPP hopes the result of the case will help restore faith in the country's justice system.
Justice, I believe, was certainly done. It was a tragic case. My condolences, which I've already given to the family of the deceased. But although the journey was long, I hope it shows a lot of people in Jamaica that the jury system, the administration of justice is alive and well.
Paula Llewellyn, Director of Public Prosecutions.
Meanwhile, Tonia's mother, Sonia Davis Hamilton, says she's happy with the verdict.
I was in there having anxiety attack, I tell you, waiting for this verdict. I am happy about the verdict, very much so, because this has been for so long and this family has gone through so much trauma, because I have lost my husband as well and I was shot as well and left to dead in the car with my husband. Based on how things go, like he was the person, same person that tried to kill us, that tried to kill both of us. So I'm happy about the verdict.
Sonia Davis Hamilton, the mother of Tonia Hamilton MacDonald, and Tonia's sister, Nicole Hamilton Linton, says she's happy that the culprits will be paying for their crimes.
I'm feeling overjoyed at the verdict because we have been waiting for this for a long time. It has been 6 months of waiting and waiting and waiting. And as my mommy said, we have been through it. We have been through it, counseling and all. I'm happy, but it won't bring my sister back. But I'm happy that the culprits will be serving time, and I hope it's time that they will spend to reflect and to know that they have taken out a human being and that she was loved. So we just want to spend time now healing as a family and try to bring ourselves back to some semblance of normalcy, for want of a better word, because we will never be normal and we will never ever be the same.
Nicole Hamilton Linton, the sister of Tonia Hamilton MacDonald.
And one of the lawyers representing Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald, Earl Hamilton, says a guilty verdict for his client was unexpected.
Well, let me say that it has been a long trial, and we have to accept, or we have heard the verdict. It is one that we did not expect. You know, we were very positive in the defense we put forward, but for now, We just have to go with what the jury has decided, and we will see what happens after the sentence.
Earl Hamilton, attorney representing Everton MacDonald.
In the meantime, one of the two attorneys representing Oscar Barnes, Vincent Wellesley, expressed disappointment in the guilty verdict against his client. He believes the 7-member jury was misled.
I'm very disappointed that the jury returned a verdict of guilty in relation to Mr. Barnes. I do not believe that the evidence was sufficient for them to have returned with such a verdict. My impression, though, having listened to the summation and having discerned at least 7 grounds of appeal, my view is that the jurors were misdirected.
Mr. Wellesley is also dissatisfied with the judge's summary of the trial.
I don't believe that the summation was an unbiased summation, and so I know not why they returned a verdict of guilty, but I was not satisfied with the summation. I have seen several grounds that I saw or that I deduced in listening to the summation. I have discerned at least 7 grounds of appeal. I do not know who's going to do the appeal, but any lawyer who's going to do the appeal will have a field day when they go to the Court of Appeal.
In respect of Oscar Barnes?
In respect of Mr. Oscar Barnes.
Vincent Wellesley, one of the attorneys representing Oscar Barnes.
And still in the courts, the alleged triggerman, David Smith, who killed Philip Polwell's daughter, 10-month-old Saraya, and her mother, Tashina Patterson, has been served with a death penalty notice. The DPP, Paula Llewellyn, served him the notice in the Home Circuit Court today. Smith is charged along with 3 others, alleged masterminds, Leoda Bradshaw, Roland Balfour, and Beyond Black. 2 other men, Richard Brown and Roshane Miller, pleaded guilty to the crime and were both sentenced. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The allegations were outlined in court on Wednesday. Miss Patterson and her 10-month-old daughter Saraya Polwell were kidnapped and murdered on September 9, 2023. Bradshaw, who declared herself to be Philip Polwell's spouse, reportedly offered the men money to murder Miss Patterson and her daughter. According to the prosecution, Balfour was the one who scouted Roshane Miller, Richard Brown, Bijan Black, and David Smith to execute Bradshaw's plan. Black provided the firearm that was used to kill Miss Patterson and Saraya. He also accompanied the men to the scene of the murder. Black is also charged separately in the gun court for breaches under the new Firearms Act. At the time of his apprehension, he was allegedly found in possession of a gun. Ballistics tests between the gun and spent shells found on the murder scene have confirmed that the gun seized was the same gun used to kill Miss Patterson and baby Saraya. Brown was the driver who transported Miss Patterson and Saraya to be murdered, and Miller conspired to kidnap and murder. The prosecution says Smith used his phone to send a picture of the deceased females by phone to Bradshaw on her request while at the scene of the murder. The bodies were then burned at the scene. Smith, Bradshaw, Balfour, and Black will return to court for a case management hearing on June 13. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Nationwide News understands that embattled President of the National Water Commission NWC, Mark Barnett, remains in the job despite ongoing attempts to separate him from the entity. Mr. Barnett was sent on administrative leave by the board of the publicly owned water utility in October 2023, 4 months ago. The move followed a damning report by the Integrity Commission questioning his moral authority to continue leading the NWC. The report accuses Barnett and his wife, attorney-at-law Annette Francis Barnett, of deliberately breaching building permits issued by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and the National Planning and Environmental Agency. The breaches relate to a multi-story development undertaken by the Barnetts at 11 Charlemont Drive, Kingston 6. Senior officials with knowledge of the matter say that despite public sentiment, Mr. Barnett's separation is running into legal hurdles that must be cleared. However, they believe his continued employment at the NWC is measured in days.
You're listening to Nationwide at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
14 minutes after 5.
Time to pay your tax? Relax! You've got this with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card to pay your taxes and get a 1-month payment holiday. New cardholders get first-year annual fee waived. Plus, you get up to 55 days interest-free and earn unlimited reward points every time you spend. So when you're ready to pay your tax, relax! You've got this. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
Continuing the news, utter rubbish. That's how local government minister Desmond McKenzie is rejecting claims that his administration oversaw the gutting of the Social Development Commission, the SDC. The minister was answering questions during Wednesday's review of the budget for the upcoming fiscal year by Parliament's Standing Finance Committee. Siobhan Campbell reports.
The Social Development Commission, SDC, is mandated to build the capacity of community-based organizations. The SDC, along with the Parish Development Committees, PDCs, are the two organizations that assist in development at the community level. Opposition spokesperson on local government, Natalie Nita Garvey, suggested at Wednesday's Standing Finance Committee that the effects of the SDC and the PDCs were having little impact and not living up to their potential.
I'm not really feeling the effect of the Social Development Commission in our communities. I'm not feeling that we have given enough attention to the participatory democracy that we want to have for our people. The parish development committees. So I'm not sure, where are we with the PDCs? Where are we with, because we seem to have abandoned those organizations. Just give me an idea where we are.
However, Minister McKenzie took issue with that characterization. He says it was the previous government that failed to properly fund these community organizations.
I've heard this argument about us gutting the SDC and about us abandoning the parish development committees and the CDCs. And I want to dismiss that as utter rubbish and cheap propaganda. And I want to make the point, and I'm hurt when I heard it. When we took office in 2016, there was zero item in the budget to support the SDC. Zero item in the budget for the SDC. Zero. No money was provided for the SDC. The books is there. The Parish Development Committee, which were established, was being used outside of the intended purpose of it.
The local government minister says it was his administration that not only strengthened the SDC and the PDCs, but also returned them to the non-partisan organizations they were meant to be.
Because the argument is that we have not done anything. We have restructured the Parish Development Committee. We are providing how much on a monthly basis? $1.5 million quarterly to the Parish Development Committees. Quarterly, yes. I have met with them on several occasions. There is a structure in place.
And it's functioning well.
That they are registered in the SDC because we got a position in the... It is a system that is working. What we have done is to take the politics out of the operation of the Parish Development Committee. And I make no apology about that.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, says the country will pursue the developing world's first ever Blue-Green Fund. He made the announcement while answering questions at today's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
Jamaica expects to launch its own Blue-Green Fund to be housed at the DBJ, which will be, I'll allow Minister Clark to dive into details, but that will be the first crowd-in financing example in the developing world for a Blue-Green Fund. We expect it to be operationalized before any other Blue-Green Fund is operationalized internationally because we're not creating a separate fund. To be noted, the Development Bank of Jamaica, which is also a line item under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation's budget, is also accredited now by the GCF and is the largest accredited entity under the GCF in Latin America and the Caribbean that I'm aware of.
A blue-green fund is capital set aside for investment measures that are environmentally sustainable. Such projects are often specialized and have difficulties securing investment. To further assist environmental projects, Minister Samuda says the Jamaica Stock Exchange will soon have the ability to provide blue-green bonds.
So Jamaica, and it should be known, is readying its stock exchange to list green and blue bonds. Jamaica is readying its stock exchange, and that project is to be completed this calendar year to be able to list blue and green bonds on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, first in the region. As it relates to the carbon credits and carbon capture, we've now completed the analysis of the marine environment and are assured of what exists and what is possible in that space. We are doing the work through the Red Plus project to ascertain what our land capture value will indeed be. The framework to deal with carbon credit trading will be dealt with policy and legislation over the next calendar year.
Matthew Samuda, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, equipping Jamaica for success.
The World in a Minute.
The gang leader behind the violence ravaging the Haitian capital is warning that there will be a civil war if Haiti's Prime Minister, Dr. Ariel Henry, does not step down. Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier made the threat as members of his gang tried to seize the capital's airport to stop Dr. Henry from returning from abroad. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights says the situation is beyond untenable, and the United States is calling on Dr. Henry to expedite a transition. The U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller urged a transition to prepare for a multinational security support mission and to pave the way for free and fair elections. He says the U.S. wanted Dr. Henry to make concessions in the interest of the Haitian people, but added that Washington was not pushing for him to resign. Henry landed in Puerto Rico after apparently being unable to return to his country. According to local media, he arrived in the Puerto Rican capital, San Juan, on Tuesday after flying from the U.S. state of New Jersey. Local media also reported that his plane was forced to divert to Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory, after it was denied entry to Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
Donald Trump vowed to cheering supporters that he would, quote, take back our country, end quote, after dominating the Super Tuesday primary contests. Hours later, he became the only Republican left in the presidential race after his last remaining rival, Nikki Haley, dropped out. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden largely sailed through the Democratic nominating contests. The results make a repeat of the 2020 U.S. election all but certain. Both men appear poised to frame the election as an existential test for the future of the country as they head towards a rematch in November. Polling indicates that many Americans do not want the same choice they had 4 years ago, but the Super Tuesday results make a repeat of 2020 seemingly determined.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, equipping Jamaica for success.
Recapping the top stories in nationwide news at this hour. Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald found guilty of the July 2020 murder of his second wife, Tonya Hamilton MacDonald.
DPP Paul Llewellyn hails the guilty verdict against Beachy Stout and his co-accused Oscar Barnes.
Justice, I believe, was certainly done.
But one of Barnes' lawyers, Vincent Wellesley, is disappointed with a guilty verdict against his client.
The alleged triggerman who killed Philip Paulwell's daughter and her mother, Tashina Patterson, has been served with a death penalty notice.
I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Nora Gay Banton.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available in Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school? And now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less,
or 2 or 3,
at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure.
The solution is simple, right? Act now.
Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Time to pay your tax? Relax! You've got this with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card to pay your taxes and get a 1-month payment holiday. New cardholders get first-year annual fee waived. Plus, you get up to 55 days interest-free and earn unlimited reward points every time you spend. So when you're ready to pay your tax, relax! You've got this. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica made it 2 wins from 2 in the West Indies Women's CG United Super 50 cricket competition after an impressive 9-wicket victory over the Leeward Islands at Conaree in St. Kitts today, set 99 to win. The Jamaicans easily raced to 99 for 1 inside 11 overs. Shadi Nation led the way with an undefeated 61 and shared an unbroken second wicket stand of 99 with Rashada Williams, who made 29. The two came together 4 balls into Jamaica's innings when Kenesha Ferran was dismissed for a duck. The Leeward Islands were earlier bowled out for 98 inside 36 overs. A top score of 37 came from Vernice Boyce. Vanessa Watts and Stephanie Taylor took 3 wickets apiece for the Jamaica team. At Warner Park, Guyana also registered a second straight victory, beating the Windward Islands by 45 runs. Shakiba Gajinabi 62 and Shemaine Campbell 42 starred for Guyana in their 208 for 8 against Karina Noel 3 for 47. The Windwards crashed to 163 all-out in 42 overs and 2 balls in their reply, with Nerissa Crafton getting 42, while at St. Paul's, Barbados beat Trinidad and Tobago by 5 runs. The Bajans were dismissed for 185 in 48 overs and 4 balls. Casey Knight top scored with 90. Karishma Ramarhak, she bagged a 4 for 20, and Samara Ramnath 3 for 38. Trinidad and Tobago responded with 180 for 8. The competition continues on Friday with Jamaica facing Trinidad and Tobago at Conaree. Nationwide Sports understands that the Jamaica Scorpions will have a new captain for the remainder of the regional 4-day West Indies Cricket Championship. It's understood that Jermaine Blackwood, who was given the reins of captaincy at the start of the campaign, is to be replaced by West Indies opener Brandon King. Blackwood has so far endured a dreaded season with the bat after 3 games in charge, with the team losing to the Windward Islands Volcanoes and the Barbados Pride, while beating the combined campuses and colleges team. Blackwood scored 18 and a duck in the first game. He made 8 in the second game, where he only batted once, while in the third game he made 14 and 16 for a total of 56 runs in 5 innings. Blackwood is also dropped from the West Indies team for the tour of Australia. The Jamaica Scorpions will face the West Indies Academy in their next game at Savannah Park, and it's set to start next Wednesday. Champions Manchester City and record winners Real Madrid are safely through to the quarterfinals of the European Champions League. City punched their ticket to the last 8 after beating FC Copenhagen by 3-1 in the second leg of their round of 16 tie at the Etihad today to advance 6-2 on aggregate.
Corner taken here by Julian Alvarez, and there's the first goal, and what a finish that is from Manuel Akanji. It's taken Manchester City less than 5 minutes to score tonight. Well, he had all kinds of time, and then he's thrown one in. What on earth is Guevara doing? Julian Alvarez with plenty of power, I'll give you that, but it's gone straight through the goalkeeper's hands. It's a nightmare start. City 2 up inside 9 minutes. Slip it through. So it's a lovely what a move and what a goal. Wonderful finish on El Yunusi in the end. He's managed to take the ball down and then make room for the shot and finish clinically.
Madrid drew 1-1 with RB Leipzig of Germany in their second leg at the Bernabeu today to progress 2-1 on aggregate.
Vinicius Junior to the left, Rodrigo to the right, still Bellingham. It's Vinicius Junior! It's a fantastic goal! There's the quality that working so far tonight. Bellingham and Vinicius Junior combine, and Real Madrid have the comfort of a 2-goal cushion. Round with the cross this time. Good delivery, and they're on terms on the night. It's Billy Orban, and they've hit back so quickly here, Leipzig, and the deficit is again reduced to 1. Game on.
Former Calabar star Daniel England says he is pleased with the diversity and competitiveness of Jamaica's athletes on the global stage at these big events. England says it's a pleasure to see the Jamaican athletes match the world's best in other events other than the sprints. He anticipates that the bulk of Jamaica's medals will come from the females at the Paris Olympic Games.
From the last championship, I mean, you could see the growth in sense of, time, the different events, because we usually just known for sprints. And now you have the Dakers, they're coming up in the throws, the triple jumps, we almost locked down the whole triple jump section, the long jump, the kid that won the national NCAA in the triple jump, that just unheard of. So I think definitely we're evolving, we open up the doors of accepting, listen, maybe this is my talent, maybe this is my role. Not everybody's just banking on the 100-meter and banking in the 200. And of course, the girls going to carry us. That's the way it is. And then you're going to have the boys them kind of follow. But definitely, you will have more medals with the girls versus the boys, obviously.
Former Calabar High School standout Daniel England. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hyundai, the home of modern premium affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:30.
Love, care for, and protect our women and girls.
We are your family. We are your friends. Don't hurt us.
End violence against women and girls.
The temperature by the Office of the Prime Minister is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
JampJA.org. Mind the business JA with Jump Online. Are your business? Fi keep your government in line.
Use the MP tracker. If you watch how them a move, the account meter help them improve.
Take action.
Use the Jump tool.
Track your MP cause they work for you. Mind your business JA with Jump Online.
Let's monitor government at JampJA.org. Funded by the European Union and the UK International Development.
We're celebrating 79 years of quality and style at the Ashley Furniture Home Store. We're giving you, our valued customers, 79 discounted styles with up to 50% off dining, lounge, and bedroom pieces. Plus, get 30% off Dacmore pieces with the purchase of an Atlantic Queen or King bed frame. Get a free oversized chair with the purchase of a Belzani 2-piece lounge set. Financing is available. The Ashley Furniture Home Store. This is home. Offers end March 31. Conditions apply.
Cool loans, I lend you 500 grand. We buy appliances and electrons. All flexible, payment plan. Yeah man a hot cash. Hot. I hope to 500 grand. Yeah man a hot cash. $500,000 that make you rich fast. 100 grand fi buy steel and black. 200 fi furniture laptop. 200 fi keep birthday bash. Yeah money loan hot. Get a cool loan to purchase all your electronics, furnitures and appliances at coolmarket.com.
Yes, me get the last cheese.
Taste the beat.
Brothers and sisters, at the end of Easter service, we have
cheese. Taste the beat.
But one day we get no bun and cheese.
Taste the beat.
Serve, sell me some bun and cheese.
Taste the beat.
Why, this will go nice with some tasty cheese.
Taste the beat.
Could I have some cheese, please?
Taste the beat.
Make we get on real bad with the tasty cheese, boy. Tasty beats with tasty cheese.
Taboo topics, bulletins after dusk,
riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between.
Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boyatings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boyatings After Dark.
Nationwide 90 FM, the the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clarke. On Tuesday, March 12, Dr. Clarke will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2024 to 2025. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke's opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 12, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 12.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good afternoon, Siobhan.
Good afternoon, Sir Hughes.
Good. Well, in our cover story this afternoon, the Beachy Stout murder trial. The Portland businessman has been found guilty of the July 2020 murder of his second wife, Tonya Hamilton MacDonald. The trial lasted for 6 months. It began September 2023. It ended today, March 6, 2024. It was a 7-member jury, and they returned a unanimous guilty verdict in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston. Nora Gay Banton reports.
The 7-member jury of 3 women and 4 men was this afternoon instructed by Justice Chester Stamp to deliberate and return a verdict. Justice Stamp told the jurors at 19 minutes after 2 this afternoon to take as long as they wish. He informed them that they're not under any pressure with time. At 3:24 p.m., just 1 hour and 5 minutes later, the jury had reached its verdict. Guilty. It was unanimous. Beachy Stout's co-accused Oscar Barnes was also found guilty in connection with the murder. For the charge of conspiracy to murder, Beachy Stout and Barnes were found guilty. Tonya's mother, who was present in the courtroom as the verdicts were being read, broke down in tears. As the verdict was being read, Beachy Stout stared straight ahead. His lower lip trembled. Beachy Stout and Barnes have been on trial in the Home Circuit Court since September 2023. Tonya's partially burnt body was found in her car, which had been set ablaze in Sherwood Forest, Portland, on July 20, 2020. Her body had multiple stab wounds and her throat was slashed. The men will be sentenced on May 16. Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Nora. And Ruby Ann Williams has joined us in studio. She and Ricardo have been covering the trial.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, for most of the 6 months. Take us inside the courtroom when the jurors were sent to deliberate and when they returned.
Good afternoon to our viewers or listeners. Good afternoon to you, Cliff, and Mr. Campbell over there. Today was a tense one. We started out late The matter started minutes after 12, and Justice Chester Stamp, he continued his summation. He's been doing his summation of the trial for about 8 days now. And he finished at around 1:15 thereabout, and he instructed everyone to get back to the courtroom exactly 2 p.m. There and then we figured that this was happening. It was happening. This was coming. It's been a long time coming, but it's the day. Today is the day. We got back into the courtroom. He started giving the jury, the 7-member jury, some instructions as it relates to finding a verdict, coming to a verdict. He told them that they must be sure. He also told them to take as long as they wish. He says, you're not pressured with any time. Take as long as you wish. They went out at 2:19. They came back at 3:24. An hour and 5 minutes. When they came back, they sat, quite looking intently, and the judge asked, "You are ready?" And the registrar asked them on the counts, based on the counts. Charged with murder, how do you find Beachy Stout? That was the first one. Guilty. Right there and then, we as reporters, we started to observe their whole presence in the courtroom. Beachy Stout, Oscar Barnes. Beachy Stout appeared as though he was going to burst. I don't know if tears were welling up in his eyes or something, but his bottom lip started trembling uncontrollably.
Wow.
It was a shocker for Barnes, because up to this point, the evidence being put forward against him was considered weak, because it was only the contract killer, the convicted contract killer. He was the sole person to say that Oscar Barnes was the person who carried out the killing. And he didn't give a description to the police of Oscar Barnes. They went and he pointed him out among some people. So it could have been anyone.
Yeah.
So up to this point, the evidence was considered weak against Oscar Barnes, and he was in total shock. It was evident on his face, his eyes. He was looking around. It's as though he couldn't believe, in a disbelief, as it relates to his verdict.
And in the meantime, Beachy Stout, his lip continued to tremble.
Not uncontrollably, not a word. When he heard Tonia's mother cried out, because the police were kind of telling Tonia's mother to kind of keep it down a little because the verdicts were still being read out. He trembled. His bottom lip trembled.
Well, you did get a reaction from Tonia's mother, Sonia Davis Hamilton, and she told you, Ruby,
yes,
she was happy with the verdict.
Your mind when you heard the verdict just now? I was in there having anxiety attack, I tell you. Waiting for this verdict. I am happy about the verdict. Very much so. Yeah, because this has been for so long, and this family has gone through so much trauma. Because I have lost my husband as well. And I was shot as well, and left for dead in the car with my husband. And based on how things go, it seemed like he was the person, same person that tried to kill us. That tried to kill both of us. Yeah. So I'm happy about the verdict. Very, very happy about the verdict.
Mom, could you speak some more about the traumatic experience the family has been forced to go through?
Well, as for my children, I have 2 children in the States, one in Canada and one in England. And I tell you, they are not even focused on work nowadays. They are not even focused on their work because they are so traumatized. And Sassy is the smallest one of the bunch, and she was the one that was taken out. So the family has been very traumatized, may I tell you. Yeah. And my children over there, they have been stressed and have to be going to counseling, both them and the grandchildren. Yeah. So this has been very hard for us. See, my daughter here, She actually nearly fainted after she heard the verdict in the courthouse just now. Yeah, we have to be fanning her and trying to revive her in there because normally she wouldn't be crying. I would be the one crying all the times, and she was trying to hold it in and be there for me. So it's been hard. It's been hard for all of us.
Has this verdict created any ease for you at all?
Well, just a little, as this can bring back my pitney.
Sister, care to tell us how you
Them
feeling?
wicked people there. This can bring back my pitney.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling overjoyed at the verdict because we have been waiting for this for a long time. It has been 6 months of waiting and waiting and waiting. And as my mommy said, we have been through it. We have been through it, counseling and all. And we are a very closely knit family, so for one of us to be taken out in this matter, it has been very hard on us. And she was the baby. She was a baby of the family, and they took her out in a gruesome manner. So I guess all of this culminating now is just me. I'm happy, but it won't bring my sister back. But I'm happy that the culprits will be serving time, and I hope it's time that they will spend to reflect and to know that they have taken out a human being and that she was loved. She was loved by her family, right? And she was the baby of the family. She was the darling of the family, right? So I hope they will spend their time in there reflecting on what they did and what they took from us, right? And as my mom said, my father was also killed. So it's not just one victory for us here today because we all know where it came from. It's not just one victory for us here today. This is for my sister and my dad, right? We can't bring them back, but at least justice is served. And the family is extremely happy. My sister's overseas. They are ringing off my phone right now because I did tell them that the verdict was guilty. So they want to talk now. So we just want to spend time now healing as a family and try to bring ourselves back to some semblance of normalcy, for want of a better word, because we will never be normal and we will never ever be the same because of what has happened to us. They are weak. They are weak and they are evil. And I'm looking at him sitting there and he's a weak and disgusting man. And that is how I feel about him right now. Him could have leave her and make she go on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole Hamilton Linton there, and before her, Tonya Hamilton's mother, Sonia Davis Hamilton, outside the Home Circuit Court in Kingston this afternoon, just after 3:30, when the guilty verdict was returned by the 7-member jury. We have more on the verdict and the reactions we're going to get from DPP, also from a couple of the attorneys involved. And of course, our reporter is here, Ruben Williams. Stay with us.
As a fitness guy, I was surprised by my chronic illness diagnosis. I thought working out harder would fix it, but it wasn't enough. Now, my prescription meds are a part of my routine.
When I got my diagnosis, I really felt down and stopped spending time with the people I love. Then I decided not to let any disease get the best of me. And I'm committed to taking my meds as prescribed. On time, every time.
No hesitation. Take your medication. A message from the NHF. NHF is here for health. NHF is here for you.
Guilty. Outperform, outlast. Guilty. With top performance. Guilty. Jackama. Reliable. Full stop. Not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy leg tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton. Available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply. We service what we sell.
Welcome back. This is Nationwide's cover story. If you're just joining us, Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald has been found guilty of the July 2020 murder of his second wife, Tonya Hamilton MacDonald. That was handed down earlier this afternoon. Joining us is our court reporter, Robbie Ann Williams, who is guiding us through what took place in the trial today. One matter that came out in that audio interview, that interview with Tonya's mother and her sister, was that the mother and her husband were also victims of a gun attack.
Gun attack, indeed.
And I understand that came out in the trial at an earlier date, and that was somehow linked or allegedly linked to Beachy Stout himself.
Allegedly. We use the term allegedly because, it's hearsay, and you know how hearsay goes in court. Doesn't work in court. Mm-hmm. So the contracted killer, the convicted contract killer, Bubler, Denverlin Bubler Minot, he hinted to it to say that Beachy had told him that he ordered the hit on Tonya's father. And in that incident, Tonya's father died. So the contract killer said that Beachy told him that he was the one who ordered the hit.
Was that matter ever pursued, or
none
are
at
you
all,
aware if it was pursued?
None at all, because to our knowledge in court, as it relates to this matter, it wasn't pursued. No evidence was brought to say that this happened. Mm-hmm. So we use the term allegedly.
Right. I also understand you had a moment to speak with Beachy Stout's lawyer after the trial. What was the defense's reaction to the verdict?
I want to tell you that it was about 4 to 5 attorneys that represented Beachy Stout. So 4 of them were present in court today. Of my count, 4 were present today in court. And they believe that the verdict, it's unbelievable. They didn't expect. It's unexpected, as they said. It's unexpected. They didn't believe to get, a guilty verdict.
Well, one of the attorneys you spoke with is Earl Hamilton. This is what he said to you, Robbie.
Well, let me say that it has been a long trial, and we have to accept, or we have heard the verdict. It is one that we did not expect. We were very positive in the defense we put forward, but for now, we just have to go with what the jury has decided, and we will see what happens after the sentence.
That's Earl Hamilton, one of the attorneys represented Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald, and also another of the 2 attorneys representing Barnes, Vincent Wellesley, expressed disappointment in the guilty verdict for his client. He says he believes the jurors were misled.
I'm very disappointed that the jury returned a verdict of guilty in relation to Mr. Barnes. I do not believe that the evidence was sufficient for them to have returned with such a verdict. My impression, though, having listened to the summation and having discerned at least 7 grounds of appeal, my view is that the jurors were misdirected. I don't believe that the summation was an unbiased summation. And so I know not why they returned a verdict of guilty, but I was not satisfied with the summation.
That's Vincent Wellesley, the attorney representing Oscar Barnes. We also now have on the line with us Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. Good afternoon, Madam Llewellyn.
Good afternoon to you both. Good afternoon to your listeners. Did I just hear Mr. Vincent Wellesley expressing something that he saw in his dreams or a nightmare? But we'll be ready to meet them in the Court of Appeal. The evidence was extremely compelling.
And in that vein, it sounded as if he was outlining there, in very sketchy terms, the grounds for an appeal.
From his dreams, but we would beg to disagree. The evidence was very compelling. The judge was extremely detailed in his summation, which took about 4 or 5 days. And one of the first things he would tell the jury, it is the prosecution that has a duty to prove the case against each accused beyond a reasonable doubt. And also that they must only be guided in their consideration of the evidence. They cannot speculate, they can't have any prejudice or any sympathy for either the deceased or the accused. So the evidence was very very cogent and very compelling. Who better to tell you what has occurred with the accused than a fellow shark coming from the bottom of the river?
Well,
that's exactly what happened.
Point taken, DPP. And earlier in speaking to a journalist, you said you were of the view that justice was done, was served.
Certainly, because the jurors, and here let me commend them, this case lasted about 6 months, from September 18th to today, the 6th of March. So they were faithful to their oath. They came when they were required over the 6 months, and they showed a commitment to duty as citizens of this country. For that, they have to be commended. They listened to the evidence, they listened to the instructions of the court, and they assessed all of the evidence from the 14 Crown witnesses.
How could they have done that? After 6 months of trial, 8 days of summation, in 1 hour and 5 minutes, DPP, did they really
Because the evidence
examine?
was so compelling. You read some of it.
Yes.
You heard some of it. You had your...
But their minds,
there.
would it be fair to say that their minds were made up going into that room?
I would never say anything like that. The judge tells them that they are to await all of the evidence before they come to a verdict.
Yes, but after the compelling evidence and 8 days of summation, at 19 minutes after 2, when the judge says, it's for you to deliberate, they'd already made up their minds.
Well, I'm not going to speculate because there's authority in law which makes it quite clear that jurors are to be held unless you have evidence on the face of it to the contrary, to be amenable to obey and adhere or follow the instructions of the judge. And there's nothing evidentially there that would suggest that they did anything else other than wait until they were all together to come to a verdict.
Madam DPP, there were some concerns there in the public when earlier in February the conspiracy to murder charge was dropped for both Barnes and MacDonald. So I'm wondering now, how do you believe then that the court or the jury were able still to come back with a murder conviction despite having the conspiracy to murder charge dropped?
Well, what has happened is that you had an indictment with the first count saying murder of Tonya MacDonald. Then you had a conspiracy count which in the particulars said conspiracy between MacDonald and Barnes to murder. Now, that couldn't be sustained. It would have been overtaken by what we call the larger offense, which is murder. Now, later on, the prosecution was able to make submissions, and the court agreed, after considering, that a count for conspiracy to commit murder between MacDonald and Denverlin Minot, that is the witness who has already pleaded guilty to murder, that could be sustained, as well as a conspiracy to commit murder between Oscar Barnes, the other man, and Denverlin Minot, because the evidence of Minot, that is the witness for the prosecution, was that on several occasions there were discussions and things were done out of a conspiracy between himself and MacDonald and himself and Barnes to kill Tonya. So that was able to be sustained. And I believe that the jury found both men, MacDonald and Barnes, guilty of murder and also guilty of the conspiracy between each of them, that's MacDonald, to conspire with the witness, Minot, to kill Tonya. So it's different offenses, and they were quite credibly sustained and proved on the evidence presented by Mr. Minot, who was really, along with a former employee Albert Nelson, or Mr. McDonald, those two gentlemen were the star witnesses in the case, and it was their credibility that was on show.
Thank you very much, DPP.
You're so welcome.
But before the DPP shows, just quickly, Madam DPP, under the modern sentencing guidelines, what time are these gentlemen looking at?
Well, they took us to trial, and based on precedent for this type of offense, and given the heinous nature and the aggravated factors that are abundant, they could be looking at anything, definitely life imprisonment, but anything between perhaps 35 years and 45 years before being eligible for parole.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Paula Llewellyn is Director of Public Prosecutions. Rubian Williams, thanks for job well
Most
done.
Welcome. It was a long 6 months, very long.
Yes. Thank you.
And thanks to Ricardo Brooks, who also
Indeed,
assisted with
indeed.
the trial.
Yes.
I'm assuming he's probably beating himself up that he missed
Yeah,
2 days.
yeah. I got the big day.
That's a cover story. The headlines at 6 are next.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6 o'clock.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs, from luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout McDonald has been found guilty of the July 2020 murder of his second wife, Tonya Hamilton McDonald. Nora Gay Banton reports.
The 7-member jury of 3 women and 4 men was this afternoon instructed by Justice Chester Stamp to deliberate and return a verdict. Justice Stamp told the jurors at 19 minutes after 2 this afternoon to take as long as they wish. He informed them that they're not under any pressure with time. At 3:24 p.m., just 1 hour and 5 minutes later, the jury had reached its verdict. Guilty. It was unanimous. Beachy Stout's co-accused Oscar Barnes was also found guilty in connection with the murder. For the charge of conspiracy to murder, Beachy Stout and Barnes were found guilty. Tonya's mother, who was present in the courtroom as the verdicts were being read, broke down in tears. As the verdict was being read, Beachy Stout stared straight ahead. His lower lip trembled. Beachy Stout and Barnes have been on trial in the Home Circuit Court since September 2023. Tonya's partially burnt body was found in her car, which had been set ablaze in Sherwood Forest, Portland, on July 20, 2020. Her body had multiple stab wounds and her throat was slashed. The men will be sentenced on May 16. Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
Justice was certainly done. Those were the words of DPP Paula Llewellyn in reacting to the unanimous guilty verdict in the trial of Everton Beachy Stout McDonald.
Well, first of all, my commendations to the police investigators who prepared a good case, good investigation, and they worked with the senior prosecutors from this office to assist with negotiating a plea deal who is the main witness, Mr. Minot, and commendations, great commendations to my Deputy Director and my Crown Counsel, Ms. Sophia Rowe and Mr. Luke Cook.
The DPP hopes the result of the case will help restore faith in the country's justice system.
Justice, I believe, was certainly done. It was a tragic case. My condolences, which I've already given to the family of the deceased. But although the journey was long, I hope it shows a lot of people in Jamaica that the jury system, the administration of justice is alive and well.
Paula Llewellyn, Director of Public Prosecutions. Meanwhile, Tonia's mother, Sonia Davis Hamilton, says she's happy with the verdict.
I was in there having anxiety attack, I tell you, waiting for this verdict. I am happy about the verdict, very much so, because this has been for so long and this family has gone through so much trauma, because I have lost my husband as well, and I was shot as well and left to dead in the car with my husband. Based on how things go, like he was the person, same person that tried to kill us, that tried to kill both of us. So I'm happy about the verdict.
Sonia Davis Hamilton, the mother of Tonia Hamilton MacDonald, and Tonia's sister, Nicole Hamilton Linton, says she's happy that the culprits will be paying for their crimes.
I'm feeling overjoyed at the verdict because we have been waiting for this for a long time. It has been 6 months of waiting and waiting and waiting. And as my mommy said, we have been through it. We have been through it, counseling and all. I'm happy, but it won't bring my sister back. But I'm happy that the culprits will be serving time, and I hope it's time that they will spend to reflect and to know that they have taken out a human being and that she was loved. So we just want to spend time now healing as a family and try to bring ourselves back to some semblance of normalcy, for want of a better word, because we will never be normal or we will never ever be the same.
Nicole Hamilton Linton, the sister of Tonia Hamilton MacDonald. In other news, a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Semuda, says that the country will pursue the developing world's first ever Blue-Green Fund. He made the announcement while answering questions at today's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
Jamaica expects to launch its own Blue-Green Fund to be housed at the DBJ, which will be, I'll allow Minister Clark to dive into details, but that will be the first crowd-in financing example in the developing world for a Blue-Green Fund. We expect it to be operationalized before any other Blue-Green Fund is operationalized internationally, because we're not creating a separate fund. To be noted, the Development Bank of Jamaica, which is also a line item under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation's budget, is also accredited now by the GCF and is the largest accredited entity under the GCF in Latin America and the Caribbean that I'm aware of.
A Blue-Green Fund is a capital set aside for investment measures that are environmentally sustainable. To further assist environmental projects, Minister Semuda says the Jamaica Stock Exchange will soon have the ability to provide blue-green bonds.
So Jamaica, and it should be known, is readying its stock exchange to list green and blue bonds. Jamaica is readying its stock exchange, and that project is to be completed this calendar year to be able to list blue and green bonds on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, first in the region. As it relates to the carbon credits and carbon capture, we've now completed the analysis of the marine environment and are assured of what exists and what is possible in that space. We are doing the work through the Red Plus project to ascertain what our land capture value will indeed be. The framework to deal with carbon credit trading will be dealt with policy and legislation over the next calendar year.
Matthew Semuda, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Sports is next.
Live exquisite
Visit this year with new arrival Black & Chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
Time to pay your tax? Relax! You've got this with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card to pay your taxes and get a 1-month payment holiday. New cardholders get first-year annual fee waived. Plus, you get up to 55 days interest-free and earn unlimited reward points every time you spend. So when you're ready to pay your tax, relax! You've got this. Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school, and now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less,
or 2 or 3,
at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alric Swaby. We bowl things off with some cricket as Jamaica made it 2 wins from 2 in the West Indies Women's CG United Super 50 cricket competition after an impressive 9-wicket victory over the Leeward Islands at Canary in St. Kitts today. Set 99 to win, the Jamaicans easily raced to 99 for 1 inside 11 overs. Sardine Nation led the way with an undefeated 6-1 and shared in an unbroken second wicket stand of 99 with Rashada Williams, who made 29. The two came together 4 balls into Jamaica's innings when Kanisha Farron was dismissed for a duck. The Leewards were earlier bowled out for 98 inside 36 overs, with a top score of 37 from Bernice Boyce. Vanessa Watts and captain Stefani Taylor took 3 wickets each for Jamaica. At Warner Park, Guyana also registered a second straight victory, beating the Windward Islands by 45 runs. Shakbika Gajnabi 62 and Shermaine Campbell 42 shared for Guyana in their 208 for 8 against Karina Noel 3 for 47. The Windwards crashed to 163 all out in 40.2 overs in their reply, with Narisha Crafton getting 42, while at St. Paul's, Barbados beat Trinidad and Tobago by 5 runs. The Bajans were dismissed for 185 in 48.4 overs. Casey Knight top scored with 90. Krisma Ramarak bagged 4 for 20 and Samara Ramnath 3 for 38. Trinidad and Tobago responded with 180 for 8. The competition continues on Friday with Jamaica facing Trinidad and Tobago at Canary. Nationwide Sports understand that the Jamaica Scorpions will have a new captain for the remainder of the regional 4-day West Indies cricket competition. It's understood that Jermaine Blackwood, who was given the reins of captaincy at the start of the campaign, is to be replaced by West Indies opener Brandon King. Blackwood has so far endured a dreaded season with the bat after 3 games in charge, with the team losing big to the Windward Islands Volcanoes and the Barbados Pride, while beating the combined campuses and colleges. Blackwood scored 18 and a duck in the first game. He made 8 in the second game, where he only batted once, while in the third, he made 100 with 14 and 16 for a total of 56 runs in 5 innings. Blackwood was also dropped from the West Indies team for the Tour of Australia. The Jamaica Scorpions will face the West Indies Academy in their next game at Sabina Park starting next Wednesday. Mayday High beat Monroe College by 98 runs to advance to the quarterfinals of the ISA Schoolboy T20 cricket competition today. Batting first, Mayday made 194 for 9 off their 20 overs. Javed Williams made 49 and Shadwick Hewitt 28. Javier Evans picked up 5 wickets for Monroe. In reply, Monroe were bowled out for 96. Evans made 19 and Justin Burnett 12. Hewitt and Sanjay Martin took 4 wickets each for Mayday. As preparation continues for the hosting of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024, organizers will be hosting a series of workshops for the pitch and outfield curators as well as other members of the ground staff who will be responsible for the venues and facilities across the region. Over 50 staff members in the 6 host nations in the West Indies will benefit from the knowledge and expertise of ICC and Cricket West Indies officials when the workshops and developmental courses are conducted from March 6 to 27. The upcoming series is crafted by CWI and designed to upskill existing curators across the region by exposing them to international best practices for pitch preparation and applicable maintenance. The courses will also expand to the cadre of curators by identifying new talent with appropriate combination of theoretical knowledge and practical exposure to lend further expertise to match venues the region seek to deliver a world-class event in June. The workshops will include both indoor educational sessions and outdoor practical events. Now to football, as champion Manchester City and record winners Real Madrid are safely through to the quarterfinals of the European Champions League. City punched their ticket to the last 8 after beating FC Copenhagen 3-1 in the second leg of their round of 16 tie at the Etihad today to advance 6-2 on aggregate.
Corner taken here by Julian Alvarez, and there's the first goal, and what a finish that is from Manuel Akanji. It's taken Manchester City less than 5 minutes to score tonight. Well, he had all kinds of time, and then he's thrown one in. What on earth is Drabara doing? Julian Alvarez with plenty of power, I'll give you that, but it's gone straight through the goalkeeper's hands. It's a nightmare start. City 2 up inside 9 minutes. Slip it through to us. A lovely what a move and what a goal. Wonderful finish on El Yunusi in the end. He's managed to take the ball down and then make room for the shot and finish clinically.
Madrid drew 1-1 with RB Leipzig of Germany in their second leg at the Bernabeu to progress 2-1 on aggregate.
Vinicius Junior to the left, Rodrigo to the right, still Bellingham. It's Vinicius Junior! It's a fantastic goal! There's the quality that had been lacking so far tonight. Bellingham and Vinicius Junior combine, and Real Madrid have the comfort of a 2-goal cushion. Round with the cross this time, good delivery, and they're on terms on the night. It's Willy Orban, and they've hit back so quickly here, Leipzig, and the deficit is again reduced to 1. Game on.
Edith Dalton James High continue their unbeaten run following their 4-0 win over Tivoli Gardens in the Issa Tip-Friendly Society Schoolgirls football competition at their home field today. They have now won 8 straight matches. Coach of Edith, Omar Taff, believe they could have won by a greater margin.
Play a very poor game today. If it's going to take Tivoli Garden, light, Olivia never score 2 and Felicia Brown score 2, but they could have done much better. The scoreline could have been much different, but just take the side, simple. We just have to just go back to the drawing board tomorrow and just work on it for the game for Saturday.
Omar Taff. In other results, Morant Bay High and Buff Bay drew 1-1, Stats beat Merle Grove 3-0, Garvin Massey and Greater Portmore drew 2-2, and Lacovia edged Stats 1-0. Now to athletics, as former Calabar High star Danielle England is pleased with the diversity and competitiveness of Jamaica's athletes at global events. England says it's a pleasure to see Jamaican athletes match the world's best in other events other than the sprints. He anticipates that the bulk of Jamaica's medals will come from the women at the Paris Olympics.
From the last championship, I mean, you could see the growth in sense of, time, the different events, because we're usually just known for sprints. And now you have the Dakers, they're coming up in the throws, the triple jumps, we almost locked down the whole triple jump section, the long jump, the kid that won the national NCAA in the triple jump, that just unheard of. So I think definitely we're evolving, we open up the doors of accepting, listen, maybe this is my talent, maybe this is my role. Not everybody's just banking on the 100-meter and banking in the 200. And, of course, the girls going to carry us. That's the way it is. And then you're going to have the boys them kind of follow. But definitely, you will have more medals with the girls versus the boys, obviously.
Daniel England. Now, President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, JOA, Christopher Samuda, says sprint legend Usain Bolt will play a major role during a special event to celebrate Jamaica's independence at the Paris Olympics. The JOA and Puma will be partnering to celebrate Jamaica's independence in Paris on August 6 and JOA Day on August 7 in the historic capital of France. Samuda says it will be an Olympic Games in Paris and an Independence Day in Jamaica to remember. He says Bolt will join the two entities in bringing to a global citizenry an experience in friendship and mutuality in sports and an expose of Jamaica's culture.
He is Puma's icon, so certainly he will be there, and certainly there will be other athletes sponsored by Puma who will be there, and it is not only going to be confined to track and field, because as you know, the Olympic Games is a multi-sport event, and it attracts various interests, a myriad of interests in sport. So I expect stars who are not track and field will also be there.
Christopher Samuda. Now to swimming, as US-born swimmer Skylar Richards will make her debut for Jamaica at the Carifta Championships in the Bahamas from March 28 to April 7. Richards, who is eligible to represent Jamaica through her father, will contest 4 events in the 13 to 14 age group category. These events are the 50 meters butterfly, 50 meters backstroke, 50 and 100 meters freestyle. She's expecting a podium finish in the 50 meters butterfly and the 100 meters freestyle.
I want to represent the green, black, and gold. I just want to swim for Jamaica, and I like swimming, and it's also a better conditioning for me because I swim short course here where I am now. 50 fly and 100 freestyle because, I would have like a personal best in both. My expectations are it's just going to be a fun experience, and that I expect just overall good sportsmanship from all the swimmers and just have a fun time when I'm there.
Skylar Richards. It's down to the top 8 in the InSports National Netball and Football Primary School competitions tomorrow. Defending All-Ireland Netball champion St. Patrick's led 7 other schools into the quarter-final round. In Cardinal, Salvanamar, Brampton, Bethabara, Halfwith Tree, Lyson and White Horses. St. Patrick brushed aside Golden Grove and will meet Brampton Primary, who defeated Flankers. Coronadley dismissed New Hope and set a date with Savannah Lamar, who turned back Irwin Primary. Former champions Bethabara defeated Black River and will meet Halfway Tree, who defeated Nazareth. The 4th matchup will be an all St. Thomas affair between Lyson and White Horses. Lyson dismissed Oracabessa, while White Horses defeated Port Maria. Meanwhile, in the football competition, St. Aloysius take on Rossies at Jamaica College Field starting at 11:30 a.m. and Mandeville play Holland at Stets at 10 a.m. At Anota Bay MPSC Field, Port Antonio tackle Port Maria at 11:30 a.m. while at William Knibb High School, Coronadley take on Clarkstown at 2 p.m. Finally, in motorsport, the Caribbean's only Formula One race car driver, Sarah Messier, received a significant boost ahead of her 2024 season by securing an endorsement deal with Red Stripe under the company's Drink and Live Responsible and Heineken 0.0 brands. As part of their multi-million-dollar sponsorship, Messier, who participated in the GT Cup in the United Kingdom for the 2022 and 2023 season, will be highlighted in the Drink and Live Responsible campaign through various digital and traditional media channels, as well as making appearances on behalf of Heineken 0.0. The Motorsports Female Athlete of the Year will start her 2024 season on April 1 at JRDC's Carnival of Speed at Dover Raceway in St. Anne. She is also slated to compete on May 26, July 7, August 4, and October 21 to complete her 2024 Modified Production Class 4 racing calendar. I'm Alex Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:23.
Get up to $1 million off
off everything. With the Mitsubishi $1 million sale. Price a slash save cash run, come catch the Mitsubishi $1 million sale. Get up to $1 million off on your brand new Mitsubishi ASX or Pajero Sport with the Mitsubishi $1 million sale. Plus 3 years warranty, 2 years free servicing, and 1 year free Amber Tracker. Follow us on social media at Mitsubishi JA for more info. Hurry up and come get this deal while stocks last. Only at Stewart's Automotive Group, South Camp Road, Kingston, and Iron Shorma Bay. Conditions apply. Home is where you put down your roots. So at Sagicor Bank, we designed a mortgage with everything you need to own your home easier. Get up to 100% financing, fast processing time, up to $100,000 cash back to assist with expenses, a competitive interest rate, plus an unsecured loan of up to $2 million to go solar at home, and a special rate on home insurance. Let's help you put down your roots. Call 888-SAGICOR to apply for your Sagicor Bank mortgage. Conditions apply.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. It's midweek. Yep, that's what it is. And it feel like a long week. But not gonna lie, it feel like a long week based on what's been happening. I mean, court, politics. It feels long. Let's get to it. Councillor-elect for the Waterloo Division, Winston Ennis, says his utterances in a leaked voice note that he was stepping away from the JLP were expressed in the heat of the moment. The long-standing councillor and chairman of the JLP's Area Council 1, he issued a statement Wednesday morning withdrawing his utterances. In the leaked voice note on Tuesday afternoon, Mr. Ennis indicated that he would be stepping away from the JLP and going independent. He cited disrespect from the JLP as the reason for his departure.
Good afternoon, information media. I just want you all to know that I have walked away from the Jamaica Labour Party. I've walked away from the KSAMC. I won't be going down there to be sworn in. I have to protect my dignity. I have to protect my values. And I have to protect my family. And the way I've been treated and disrespected, I am not having any more of it. And I've walked away. So officially, I am an independent until I return to Jamaica on the 3rd.
Well, not so, because Mr. Ennis, he walked back on his decision. He met Tuesday night with members of his division and party workers and said that he's committed to resolving internally any issue which might have arisen that led to his earlier sentiment. So, we're asking you in Public Opinion today, what's your reaction to the JLP's Winston Ennis withdrawing his decision to leave the party?
I understand his disappointment of not being appointed deputy mayor. But you have to set aside that disappointment for the greater good of the party and the relationship and your profile in the party. So your disappointment now comes second. Just like in our relationships, there are times when our spouse, when our partners, when our children, they would have done something that disappoint us. But we then have to set aside that disappointment and work through the differences.
The view, one view right there. All right, so let's get to the comments on our social media to see what the people are saying. Griot says that's the right move. Omar Sala, apparently Mr. Ennis had problems but never discussed it. Now his issues are being addressed. He decided to go back and stay with the party. It's a great move and hope he will be happy now. Christopher Clark says, frankly, I'm not surprised. The voice note was leaked so as to add pressure to the JLP hierarchy. Ennis wants back his deputy mayorship. That's simple. Brescia is asking, would he be the first? Did he create history? Let me see if I can get in some more. Peggy Max, ask him how much he got for selling himself. Peggy? We don't know about that one, but it's not the view of Nationwide here. Stella says, excellent and very mature decision. Pacha says, happy And Bowinkle believes that it is raw politics at its finest. Grace Davidson says it's a bad situation all over. Wealthy Kid is saying sign of an internal disruption within the JLP. Clearly things are not going well. All right. K Fender says tricks you. Me never mean it. Got what I want now. Okay. Let me see if I can get this one. Sherry says he was being human. Things we say or do when we're badly hurt. According to Mr. Ennis, it was what? Heat in the moment. It was heat in the moment. It was that's what he said. Heat of the moment, rather. It was heat of the moment. Bisuzi says he's a coward. Kirko Ashley is saying party leader had a word with him. Gonna be rich says every man got a right to decide his own destiny. C-Mac is saying every man barn will vent and blow off steam among friends. That's what he did. It's a WhatsApp group. The voice note was leaked and blown out of proportions. All right. Let me see if I can get in some of the comments on our Facebook platform real quick before I go on over to our YouTube. Let me see. On the question, what is your reaction to the JLP's Winston Ennis withdrawing his decision to leave the party? Case and Gordon is of the view that it seems like he was threatened. That's coming from Case and Gordon. Rosalind Buck says his life, his business. O'Neill Dennis is saying let good sense prevail. And Anthony Shakes is saying we all say things in the heat of the moment, but after consultations it was good. And it was a good and wise decision. Aid Donna saying it's a good move. And she's saying thank you, Mr. Ennis. Natalie Winter says, look. Politics will always be politics. And as someone said to politics will always be politics. Audley Phillips says, political antics at its best. Power play we call it. All right. Philip Jackson says it's good news for some and bad news for others. Nothing more. Let's go to the comments on our YouTube platform. Craig McKenzie says people, politics, and not partisan politics. Okay. Nicole Whitaker says Ennis is Jamaica biggest jellyback. Wow. Make government badness bully him. Wow, Nicole Whitaker. You went with the jellyback comment. Abraham Thomas is questioning what happened to his dignity. And Marlene P. is saying much to do about nothing. This matter is neither here nor there. That's what you're saying, Marlene P. It's neither here nor there. Doreen Johnson says the man did vex. When we vex, we say certain things. Don't Doreen Johnson. Doreen is saying that the man did vex. Let me see. Carlene Smith says, let's just say that Mr. Ennis left the bargain table a winner. Linda Ming is saying nothing not wrong with withdrawing when you vex, you chat foolishness. See him so. Family Tab is saying welcome back, Mr. Ennis. And Godfrey is saying good move, Mr. Ennis. There is no perfect family. There will always be disagreements. Craig Mackenzie is saying check and balances. All right. John Black is saying I don't know what NNN waiting on to block you. Sir, we not block you, sir. John Black, why would we do that? Linda Ming is saying that my boss believes he got something. Well, it's for you to decide. We only bring the news. We bring the news as we get it. Yes. Ozra Walker says when you vex, things happen. Things happen. All right. And Mark Peart, good evening to you. That's all the time we have for Public Opinion. Thank you guys for participating. You do have the option of agreeing and or disagreeing. So if you agree with the utterances in the heat of the moment, then that's fine. If you don't agree, then Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Let's get to it. Motorists should see an increase at the pumps in the price of gasoline effective Thursday, March 7. That's tomorrow, and it's according to the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam. Both grades of gasoline, 90 octane and 87 octane, will go up by $4.50 per liter. Automotive diesel fuel will see a decrease of 75 cents, and ultra-low sulfur diesel will go down by $1.20 per liter. Kerosene will decrease by $3.06 per liter. Propane liquid petroleum will go down by $2.93, while butane liquid petroleum will see a decrease of $3.06 per liter. In other news, sales in China of Apple's iPhone fell by 24% in the first 6 weeks of 2024 compared to a year earlier. That's according to research from Counterpoint. It comes as the U.S. technology giant is facing fierce competition in the country from local rivals. During the same period, China's Huawei saw its sales jump by 64% in its home market. China, which is one of Apple's biggest markets, also saw overall smartphone sales shrink by 7% in the same period. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 28 cents to buy $1 US, 197 Jamaican dollars and 91 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 55 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Have yourselves a good evening.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
Taboo topics, bulletins after dark,
riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between.
Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings, each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boyatings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boyatings After Dark.
Nationwide 90 FM, the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark. On Tuesday, March 12, Dr. Clark will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2024 to 2025. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark's opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 12, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 12th.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again.
Live here halfway through an Olympic final.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot.
Jamaica to the Blacks!
Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Noblin Williams-Mills coming, the glory flapping, her arms are waving, and Noblin Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's goal.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
And some parchment, let's go! Oh, what a run!
Everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering goal for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph, and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
Good evening, and yes, we're going to Paris come the Summer Olympics. Yes, it will be Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center.
So tune in, ladies and gentlemen, to get your exclusive Olympic coverage from Nationwide News.
Yes. Well, in the nation's business this evening, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, says Jamaica will pursue the developing world's first ever Blue-Green Fund. He made the announcement while answering questions at today's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
Jamaica expects to launch its own Blue-Green Fund to be housed at the DBJ, which will be, I'll allow Minister Clark to dive into details, but that will be the first crowd-in financing example in the developing world for a Blue-Green Fund. We expect it to be operationalized before any other Blue-Green Fund is operationalized internationally, because we're not creating a separate fund. To be noted, the Development Bank of Jamaica, which is also a line item under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation's budget, is also accredited now by the GCF and is the largest accredited entity under the GCF in Latin America and the Caribbean that I'm aware of.
That's Matthew Samuda. He's the Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. A Blue-Green Fund is capital set aside for investment measures that are environmentally sustainable. Such projects are often specialized and have difficulty securing investment. To further assist environmental projects, Minister Samuda says the Jamaica Stock Exchange will soon have the ability to provide blue-green bonds. Well, Senator Samuda joins us now. That's Matthew Samuda. He's the Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic. Good evening, Senator Samuda. Minister Samuda.
Good evening, Siobhan. Good evening, Cliff. Good evening to listeners.
Good evening, Minister.
So this Blue-Green Fund, I know you said the majority, the meat, will be provided in Dr. Clark's budget presentation, but surely you can give us some understanding of what a Blue-Green Fund is.
Well, to start first in what question I was responding to in the Standing Finance Committee, it was a question posed by member Philip Paulwell in relation to what Jamaica was doing. I was making the point in relation to climate change generally, that Jamaica was well poised to take advantage of significant climate change funds which are available internationally. Though it is well known and impatient to debate that the funds that have been made available to the developing world are inadequate to totally deal with the challenge. Jamaica has positioned itself well to take advantage of what is indeed available. So, firstly, Jamaica has ensured that it has two entities which are accredited by the Green Climate Fund to access money and to implement projects. These entities, first was JSIF, second is DBJ, which I believe is in the range of $250 million US. As a part of the resilience facility that has been provided by the IMF, which I believe goes in the range of $1.7 billion US. A part of how we will use those funds is to crowd in funds from the GCF, from IMF, from the EU Development Bank, as a part of the British Climate Facility. We'll bring in funds that allow us to target resilience-based projects. I'm not going to go much further on the discussion because that is Minister Clark's announcement to make as a part of the finance portfolio. But Jamaica is well poised to take advantage of significant climate funds which are available.
First of all, just step back a little and tell our listeners, when we speak of blue-green fund, the blue, the green, is in reference to what?
So blue funds generally relate to ocean protection funds. It's related to marine protection, environmental projects. Green funds usually refer to clean environment type projects. And generally, the world has had a challenge financing these projects. So we have started a project with funding from the GCF to ready the Jamaica Stock Exchange to be able to list blue and green bonds. We're moving at pace to ensure that the stock exchange has all it needs to complete this process. But we expect that to be completed middle of 2024. So persons who have projects that need funding will be able to go to the stock exchange to raise funds to ensure that we have, significant blue and green activities.
We're up on the break, Minister Samuda. Stay with us while we take this break.
Become Team Jamaica certified to shape the future of Jamaica's tourism sector. TPDCO's Team Jamaica, shaping ambassadors for life.
The time by TPDCO's Team Jamaica training program is
6:45.
Home is where you put down your roots. So at Sagicor Bank, we designed a mortgage with everything you need to own your home easier. Get up to 100% financing, fast processing time, up to $100,000 cash back to assist with expenses, a competitive interest rate, plus an unsecured loan of up to $2 million to go solar at home, and a special rate on home insurance. Let's help you put down your roots. Call 888 Sagicor to apply for your Sagicor Bank mortgage. Conditions apply.
Know your numbers and take control of your life. Don't wait till it's too late. Check your doctor today. Yeah. Get your BMI check, your blood pressure check, your blood sugar and cholesterol check. We're living well when we stay on top of our health. Know your numbers and take control of your life. Don't wait till it's too late. Check your doctor today. Know your numbers and take control. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
We're back. It's the nation's business. We're discussing Senator Matthew Samuda, Minister with a portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. He was in front of the Standing Finance Committee today answering questions regarding the upcoming budget for the financial year. He was talking with us about the matter of the environmental sustainability of the country and accessing funding to target projects that will assist in that measure. You were giving us information regarding the Jamaica Stock Exchange blue-green bonds. Exactly who would have access to this? How would they go about it? And how would someone support a measure using a blue-green bond?
So let me try and skirt around as best as possible. Admittedly, because as I said earlier, it's not like announcements to make. But we are already in the stock exchange making sure that the regulatory frameworks are indeed in place to allow entities, whether it is a jet, whether it is a foundation, whether it is any such entity, to be able to raise funds for projects that support environmental sustainability. It will be open, as with all stocks on the stock exchange, for anyone who wishes to participate. The particular terms that will be used for these entities that wish to list bonds will have to come from the stock exchange, and I believe that will come from the Minister of Finance at the appropriate time.
Then what about a matter that you have specific responsibility for, water? That has always been one of the most difficult challenges faced by the country, getting potable water to where it's needed. And I know that an announcement was made during the Gigi's throne speech regarding the KMTR water project that's expected to essentially solve the woes that we've suffered for come every drought season, especially in the summer. How is that going so far?
So on March 14th, the Prime Minister is expected to break ground, not ceremonially, but practically break ground for the long-anticipated water treatment plant, which will be at Damhead in Rio Cobre. This project will provide some 15.5 million gallons to the Kingston metropolitan area. Now, for context, in the worst of our drought, worst drought, last year, February, the Kingston metropolitan area was short 12.5 million gallons daily. This 15 million gallons is expected to fundamentally change the source water for Kingston metropolitan area. It is a $77 million US investment. It is a PPP, and we expect the project to take no more than 24 months.
So in 2 years, this matter of water restrictions every summer should be a thing of the past.
You will only have water restrictions in the Kingston metropolitan, Portmore area, when there is works being done on pipes, not based on drought.
Oh, you're making bold that statement, Minister.
Well, 1 + 1 = 2, Cliff. If the shortage in the worst drought that we've ever had is 12.5 million gallons, and we have conducted a transaction that will allow a water treatment plant to extract 15.5 million gallons from the Rio Cobre to put into Kingston and St. Andrew. Your current non-revenue water level, which is water leaked or water stolen in the Kingston area, is 37%. We expect to bring that over the next 3 years down to 20%, similar to several boroughs in New York. So, there's no piping system in the world that doesn't have leaks. But we expect to bring it in line with international standards in the next 3 years. We're adding 15.5 million gallons. We are pretty comfortable that I would say St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew, and sections of St. Thomas will not have a source water challenge. We cannot sit here and tell you that you don't have 70-year-old pipes, 60-year-old pipes that leak profusely. We have a lot of work to do on a distribution network. But as it relates to source water, the issue of chronic drought will not affect us on this end of the island in the way that it currently does.
How much water you'll be pulling from the Rio Cobre?
15.5 million gallons.
A day? A day?
Yes.
And I'm sure it is able to sustain, you'd have done the feasibility studies already, yes?
Indeed, the extraction licenses have been granted by the Water Resources Authority. This has been studied over, I think, just under 2 decades. This is a sustainable extraction amount.
15.5 million gallons a day. Wow.
Yes, sir.
No. We are on the business of water. What is happening with the NWC and its president, Mr. Barnett, Minister?
You would be aware that he is on administrative leave. He has been on administrative leave since the tabling of the Integrity Commission report.
4 months now. 4 months now.
Well, the process of review and the process of any action that is to be taken, I would say exists in the realm of lawyers, and I'd leave it to them.
Oh, so it's entirely a legal matter now?
Correct.
Oh.
But as things stand, Mr. Barnett is on his way out of the NWC.
The matter is entirely a legal matter using Cliff's words.
Oh, you're using my... No, but seriously, Minister Samuda, this is concerning. Yes, we're now in this, suspense, yeah? where we don't know if he's coming or going. How is this impacting the work of the commission without a leader?
The acting president, Kevin Carr, is doing very well in the role. The vice presidents of the organization and certainly all the regional managers have continued to fulfill their duties. Let's leave legal matters where they are. I expect resolution soon.
Oh, you have been saying that for 4 months now, Minister.
Well, I don't speak legally, Cliff. I'll allow the lawyers what they need to do.
Yes. But, this could drag on for another 4 months, another 4 years.
No, Cliff. But I don't speak legally.
Oh, I hear you, sir. Could I turn to some politics now in Northeast St.
If you wish, Cliff.
Yes. Your constituency did very well last Monday. Yes? You met all your targets, did you?
We performed adequately. We met most targets.
Yeah? You lost any of the divisions you had?
No, we won all four divisions. Certainly the first time in the last 30 years that we've won Lime Hall back-to-back. We've won it a few times, but not back-to-back. First time we won Lime Hall back-to-back. We won Ocho Rios against, I'd say stiff competition from the PNP. Exchange Division and Senans Bay performed as per usual history, and we're comfortable with the performance.
Mm-hmm. And you also has seen I gather Mayor Bell Nevis is back. Michael Bell Nevis will be back as mayor of the corporation, the St. Anne's Bay Corporation.
That's a matter for the council caucus, but so I've heard.
Oh, you don't have any role in that?
No, I'm not yet member of parliament. I'm not an officer of the area council, but that's what I've heard, and we look forward to Northeast St. Anne reassuming the mayorship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how are you finding that transition, Matthew? How are you gelling with the leadership down there in Northeast St. Anne?
We're one big happy family.
Oh, you've turned it around.
I don't know that it needed much turning, but we're one big happy family. The team is working well together.
Come on. You politicians have a way of dumbing down things. I remember sitting right in this chair. Mm-hmm. Yes, and the fallout in that constituency between the MP, Marsha Smith, and the constituents was at such an intense level. You're trying to play it down, or you're just trying to be humble?
There are two regions in this country that I would say take politics more personally than others.
Mm-hmm.
Not that everyone doesn't care about the politics, but if one thinks of the southern belt in St. Elizabeth, and you think of the northern belt in St. Anne,
yes,
you're going to a barber shop, a hairdresser, a supermarket, a wholesaler, a bar. They're talking politics, not sports. They're not talking any other current affairs about music. They're talking politics in these two regions.
Mm-hmm.
They take their politics seriously.
Mm-hmm.
When one thinks of the sort of passion that would have been brought to the politics by the late, great Shahini Robinson, it would have been a difficult task to keep that sort of political energy after her passing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there would have been some challenges.
Mm-hmm.
We believe we're in a good place now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the numbers from the local government election show that.
Yes. And tell me, Mr. Samuda, that part of the country, and in particular Northeast St. Anne, they have become used to the kind of representation that Shahini provided. How challenging is that for you because you're going to be judged against that standard of Shahini? How challenging is that for you?
Well, it's one of the larger constituencies in the country. So it is no easy feat. It is no lightweight to lift. Ultimately, they do expect a level of representation which they deserve, and they're working hard to give it to them.
And you're able to step up to the level of attention and care that they demand?
I do reside most of the time in the parish. I'm enjoying the interaction with them. I think there's much opportunity for projects that will trigger growth, that will trigger community enhancements. I'm enjoying the process at this stage, Cliff. It's not feeling much like work.
Yeah? What is giving you that joy?
as I said, there's a level of passion with how Northeast St. sees politics. I've always been passionate about my political service. There's also much opportunity within the community to ensure that they take advantage of the natural assets that they have. Northeast St. has rivers, has mountains, has beautiful beaches, and it's a place that many people are trying to take, not advantage of, but certainly invest in and benefit from. Our challenge is to make sure that our people in Northeast St. are in a position to take advantage of the investments that are coming. Those things, I think, provide challenges and provide opportunities that I'm enjoying, being a part of.
Matthew Samuda, the JLP didn't perform as well as it expected. What are the big lessons that it must take away from last Monday?
The fundamentals of politics don't change. The JLP must pay attention to the basics. The JLP must look at the numbers, must do what took us to power in 2016. There are things that we've done well. There are some things that we need to do better. Ultimately, as much as the electorate, has obviously grown, we have to continue to engage them where they are. And I think, I don't think we're in a bad position at Cliff. There are obviously some lessons, but we have to take the time to absorb them and adjust where people want us to adjust.
What are those basics it must do better at?
We have to deploy capital faster. So going back to the Standing Finance Committee where we discussed the budget, there's never been a budget in Jamaica where no matter how large or small the capital budget is, that some capital funds haven't gone back. The country is not in the mood for the return of capital funds. The country, its citizens, its taxpayers want to see the money spent on its roads, want to see the money spent on its water supply, want to see the money spent on its garbage collection. You can't sell macroeconomic success and not have those microeconomic wins. So we have to ensure we deploy capital much faster. We do so in a way that is not concerning to the public or doesn't trigger concerns as it relates to governance, so that the people believe that they're benefiting from the improved environment that Jamaica has.
So you're not one of those who want to pour cold water on that sentiment that the people need to feel the benefits of the macroeconomic gains?
No, there's not. Look, people must enjoy the benefits of their investment. It's not the PNP that turned the country around in 2013. It was the staff members who took a wage freeze. It was the pensioners who took a haircut that turned the country around. They must feel the benefits of that sacrifice. And ultimately, have we done sufficient? We've done a lot. But people have to decide if we've done sufficiently. They've sent a clear message that we need to do more roads, we need to do more water, we need to collect more garbage. There are other sub-messages, but obviously we must move faster in these three critical areas. That shouldn't be ignored. We did well enough. It is a year and a half before an election is due, a general election due. You're in the second term. There is always the burden of incumbency. I'm not unhappy with our results, but there are some clear messages that we must answer.
Yes, and rebuilding the party machine, because the machine did not perform as was expected last Monday.
Well, you won 7 municipalities in your second term, with coming out of COVID, coming out of the worst drought in Jamaica's history last year, coming out of imported inflation that you have no control over. The truth is, any other government wouldn't have won a division or a municipality. So we also need to look at the context.
All right, Matthew Samuda, thank you very much for sharing with us this evening. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Cliff.
it.
Thank you, Siobhan, and thank you to your listeners.
Senator Matthew Samuda is a minister without portfolio, with responsibility for economic growth and job creation, and the parliamentary prospective candidate for the governing Jamaica Labour Party in Northeast St. Ann, and one who is seen as, one for the future as well. And you hear that level of candor.
Yes, sir.
Siobhan?
Definitely a good head on his shoulders.
Yes. And, you contrast his very frank, comments with some of those who are trying to say, everything is fine. Well, you can be talking about, people not feeling it. There is. And, you don't begin to fix a problem
until you acknowledge it.
Exactly. You recognize it, Yeah? And then you begin to say, how do we fix it now? Yeah? It's heartening to hear that from Matthew Samuda.
Yes.
Unlike from others. Time for the break.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Labor market dilemma. The March 1, 2024 edition of the Financial Gleaner carried a front page picture of Wisynco Group Limited Chairman William Mahfood, along with the caption, "We are hiring." In the page 4 story, the St. Catherine-based producer and distributor of beverage brands said it is launching a massive recruitment drive for 600 workers to man its US $23 million investment in new production capacity. Ordinarily, this would be good news for any economy. In Jamaica's case, it is a two-edged sword. The upside is obvious. More employment for job seekers in a country that traditionally has struggled to provide its citizens with a viable lifestyle and a good standard of living. There are, however, a couple of downsides. The latest figures released by Statin, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, showed the unemployment rate declined to a historic low 4.2%. In the November 8, 2023 Business Observer, Richard Pandui, CEO of Separate Limited, signaled the need for migrant labor to fill job openings in Jamaica. There's an even bigger problem than the tightening labor market. Jamaica traditionally has experienced low labor productivity compared to its trading partners. The data reveals that from 1951 to 1975, labor productivity growth averaged an impressive 5.3% annually. In contrast, for the next 42 years, 1976 to 2017, average labor productivity growth was negative 0.6% annually. Between 2018 and 2022, productivity in the island experienced an average 0.8% dip for each year. A few months ago, the governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles, inarticulately suggested that employers should restrain themselves from giving their workers large wage increases in order to return the productivity ratio to positive. This caused a firestorm of criticism from many quarters, including President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, Metri Siaga, who labeled the governor's comment insensitive. The tightening job market and declining productivity, made worse by big wage adjustments, is putting pressure on inflation. Consequently, is not expected to be realized until June 2025. When looking for a solution, the powers that be should remember labor productivity is not only achieved by continuing to pay workers slave wages, cutting waste, investing in technology, retraining workers, and better, more motivating management are just 4 examples. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Suzuki, I give you deals on deals. So here's the deal. Purchase a 2024 Suzuki Vitara, Grand Vitara, XL7 or the all-new Bronx from as low as $4.79 million. Just $53,500 monthly. Enjoy 5 years warranty, free vehicle tracking and servicing, plus more. Offer valid at Stewart's Automotive Group, South Camp Kingston, and Iron Shore Bay. Stop by your test drive events on February 10 and 24. Follow Suzuki Jamaica for more details. Conditions apply.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again.
Live here halfway through the Olympic finals.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot.
Jamaica to the blacks!
Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Noblin Williams-Mills coming, the glory flapping, her arms are waving, and Noblin Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's goal.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
And some parchment! Let's go! Oh, what a run!
Everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering goal for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph, and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
It's 7:10 and we're turning to our neighbor to the northeast, Haiti. A gang leader behind the violence ravaging the Haitian capital of Port-au-Prince has warned there will be a civil war if Haiti's Prime Minister, Dr. Ariel Henry, does not step down. Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier made the threat as a member of his gang tried to seize the capital's airport to stop Mr. Henry from returning from abroad.
The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights says the situation is beyond untenable, and the United States is calling for the Haitian Prime Minister to expedite a transition. The U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller urged the transition to prepare for what he's calling a multinational security support mission and to pave the way for free and fair elections.
Dr. Henry landed in Puerto Rico after apparently being unable to return to his country. According to local media, he arrived in the Puerto Rican capital of San Juan on Tuesday after flying from the U.S. state of New Jersey. Local media report that his plane was forced to divert to Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory, after it was denied entry to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. CNN has more in this report.
Well, in less than an hour, the UN Security Council is set to hold a private meeting on the crisis in Haiti. A police union spokesperson says several police stations in the capital are under attack from violent gangs. The police academy in Port-au-Prince, where hundreds of cadets are stationed, has also reportedly been targeted. The union spokesperson telling CNN Port-au-Prince has been handed to the gangs. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ariel Henry has surfaced in Puerto Rico. Now, one gang leader is warning that if Henry doesn't step down, Haiti will, quote, suffer a genocide. And that stark warning is from Jimmy Cherizier, known as Barbecue, the capital's most notorious gang leader. Photographer Giles Clark visited Cherizier, documenting him just days before his rampage began, calling him a defiant face of Haitian resistance. You're looking at some of his photos right there. Clark says Cherizier's intention is to have a seat at the table and see Haiti run itself without interference. Giles Clark joins me now from New York with more. Giles, welcome to the show. I mean, the very fact that the Prime Minister can't come back to Haiti, can't land in Haiti, really illustrates just how dire it is. You've come face to face with this gang leader, Barbecue as he's known. What does he want? I mean, what do these gangs want to see?
I think after years of chaos and instability in the country and political corruption, the gangs have formed themselves into these sort of unions of power. And many of them, in the case of Barbecue, he sees himself as somebody who can pull Haitians out of this current, former police officer, of course he is. So he has this sort of training and he has the backing of a lot of the inside police anyway. So it's a very shady situation in terms of how they were formed. But where they are now is they want themselves, they want to be at the seats of political power. They want
seats
to
of political power, yeah. They want to be on the table. What does that mean? He wants to be Prime Minister? He wants to, or he wants to be part of the negotiations for the future of his country?
I would have thought it'd be the latter.
Right.
Yes, certainly the latter, because I think where they stand is that, I mean, he really does come from a background of running a gang. Really, that's his thing, and he has the political backing of a potential person in the shadows here, Guy Philippe, who came back from the States in last year in 2023, having been imprisoned for a few years. So I think there's an alliance going on there. I also think that there's going to be this union of the larger gangs. That means that Port-au-Prince really is at their mercy. And that's how it is at the moment. When I photographed him, I went into his area, and he's sort of a Robin Hood type character, really. I mean, he's building schools. He's looking after. He wants clean water. He wants to try and sort out libraries and strange things like that that you wouldn't have thought a gang leader would usually do. So he's a sort of anomaly, really. He's definitely an interesting character, but he's very much in charge right now.
Yeah, it's interesting to compare Robin Hood and wants kind of social justice, but at the same time, we've seen so much violence, right? Extreme violence from these gangs. And there are dozens, Giles, dozens of these gangs. Yeah. And largely, from what I understand, they've been grouped into like competing alliances. So are we to assume now, Giles, that they're working together in this rebellion to unseat the government? Is that right? Or are they still competing with each other?
Well, bear in mind, there's 200 or so gangs in Haiti, and half of those are in Port-au-Prince. And then you break that down, there's the larger gangs, 30 or 40 larger gangs. There is at the moment, apparently, some kind of alliance that's sort of giving them the sort of unity towards fighting this fight together. But it's such a shifting landscape, the power struggle there. For the moment, Cherizier is saying that it's a united front against a corrupt political system. So that's where they are at the moment. But this could all change tomorrow. And the other thing with the mass breakout, with 3,500 people who inmates who escaped through Cherizier's what one assumes his leadership. That adds another whole sort of problem to the equation, because you've got even more sort of criminal elements. It's just very difficult. But you've got the police resigning. You've got a president or prime minister, who can't even get back into the country. So
yeah, I mean, and the prime minister, of course, was, I believe, in Kenya trying to get these Kenyan forces, right? I think it was about 1,000 or so to secure the deployment of about 1,000 Kenyan police officers, right, to Haiti. I mean, 1,000, that number alone doesn't seem like it goes far enough. What do you think Haitians would take of that 1,000 Kenyan police force in the country? Would they welcome it?
Every Haitian I spoke to from different parts of the social structure do not support it. Some support the fact they need the peace, obviously. I mean, they all support they need the peace, but some support they need some way of stopping these gangs. Other gangs, vigilante gangs within the Haitian population have sprung up, like the Bois-Calais. These are vigilante gangs. Cherizier certainly made it very clear to me personally that I don't want to have anybody coming in here and telling us how to run Haiti. You know, the reason why a lot of these gangs in the last 6 months or so have really caused all this trouble is that they're trying to intimidate, I believe. They're trying to intimidate any foreign outside influence. They don't want to have a multinational deployment put into their backyard. So it's originally it was 1,000. I believe it's up to 5,000 now. So it's a very unknown. It's still a very unknown thing. But the Prime Minister Ariel Henry was actually in Kenya when this uprising began on the 27th. So it's that alone is a message.
That is a message, and we've seen so many. I think 300,000 Haitians who have been forced to flee their homes. The situation is, and we've heard from doctors on the ground, how dire it is. It seems that this is another turning point. Giles, really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us, and fabulous photos, hard to look at times, but really fantastic. Thank you very much.
Wow. Haiti continues to bleed. Yeah. The world's first black republic.
And this is how she's been punished.
Yeah. Being punished for that, for daring to do that.
No, but to sum it up, Mr. Hughes, a former police officer turned gang leader is now preventing the country's prime minister from returning to the island. This is beyond a parody.
But what it does is to lay bare the fact that there's no state, there's no functioning state.
Yes, there's no functional
in Haiti. Yeah, it's the land of the jungle now, and the gang leaders like Barbecue, they're calling the shots. And it was interesting the point made by that reporter, photographer, Giles, speaking with the CNN, that the strategy is to scare off any outside force being assembled to go in there. Because who wants to go in there now? You have to go in there.
It's quite the mess to have to sort out.
Exactly. And people are going to die. More people are going to die, including members of a multinational force.
Precisely.
Wow.
I mean, in days gone by, we would be turning to the United States and saying, but I can imagine they don't.
But nobody wants, including them. They don't want to do it.
Most likely, they don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, it's sad. 20 minutes after 7. Time for your calls now. The numbers 876-630-937124 or 618-8255.
The National Land Agency, NLA, is advising members of the public to be cautious of persons or organizations purporting to be employees of the agency. All employees of the NLA must present identification when conducting business on its behalf. To confirm an officer's identity, you may contact the agency at 876-750-5263. You may also visit the agency's website at nla.gov.jm for further information. The public is also being reminded to report any suspicious activity to the nearest police station. The NLA appreciates your kind understanding and cooperation.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
Taboo topics, bulletins after dark,
Riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between.
Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boyatings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boyatings After Dark.
Nationwide 90 FM, the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clarke. On Tuesday, March 12, Dr. Clarke will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2024 to 2025. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke's opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 12, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 12.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton, weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
"26 after 7, and it's a Wednesday evening, Wednesday the 6th of March 2024. You know the significance of March 6, 1996 it was?
I'm not familiar.
Oh. Wayne Walker, good evening.
Good evening to you, Sir Cliff. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Well, I'm here at the National Stadium. They're not using the lights because there's no need for it. I mean, the towers, the 4 towers that are at the National Stadium, but it's brightly lit. It's the official launch of the 2024 Grace Kennedy Issa Boys and Girls Athletics Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's some pieces of news that are coming out of it that since we're live on air with the show, I figure that, our listeners might be interested in.
Yes, please tell us.
So I suppose the news that's reverberating around the stadium is the fact that Grace Kennedy has put a suggestion to the Intersecondary School Sports Association, ISA, to honor Hubert Lawrence this year. Of course, you and I spoke on the night that he passed away about 2 or so weeks ago, unfortunately.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm sure most, if not everybody listening, would know about Hubert Lawrence. But for the uninitiated, Hubert was a track and field genius, literally, as far as a commentator and analyst is concerned. He was also an outstanding table tennis player for his high school, St. Jago's alma mater. He was also a tricky winger in football. And, Hubert Lawrence transcends sports. He was just an absolute and utter genius. And he passed away quietly at home a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so the Grace Kennedy Group, they've suggested to ISA that they contact his family, put everything together, and see what they can do for him at championship. So that's one. Two, the Grace Kennedy Group, they're putting together $178 million in sponsorship, $100 million directly from the Grace Group and $78 million from their subsidiary. The championship this year is a 113 staging, and there'll be, let me just look at my notes here because I'm in the dark. Even though the place is properly littered, I have to move away from the sound to make sure that we're not inconvenienced. But I think it's 101 boys teams that will be competing. That's 101 boys schools, or 101 boys teams, and 97 girls. There'll be 88 events contested, yeah? And it runs from March 19 to 23. Now, last year, they tried to sort of spread the events across days because they found out that people were coming on Friday night when the 100 meters finals would normally go off. They switched that around because the people didn't come on Wednesday. They didn't come on Thursday. So what they've done, they've put the big events, quote unquote, on these days. For instance, on the Wednesday night, the 100 meters, both genders, all classes will be on. On Thursday, they're going to have 13 finals, and it will be highlighted by the 400 meters final across genders, all classes. On Friday, another 13 finals, yeah? The 400 meters hurdle will take the spotlight on that day. Then on Saturday, the final day, they'll have 43 finals starting, from about 3 o'clock right through the way to the end. And they're also planning to have a massive closing ceremony. In fact, Mr. Richard Thompson, the principal of Pitchfield High School, is chairing the organizing committee. Just mentioned that on the night of the 4x400 meters, the traditional closing event for meets like these, he's urging patrons to stay back because they're going to witness, as he said, a closing ceremony like never before. The opening ceremony is on the Tuesday. That's the first day of the championship at 6 o'clock. Let me see if I'm leaving anything out. Not quite. 113 years. Oh, yeah, one more. So Grace Kennedy's existence is now 102 years, and Mr. John Welly, who is head of the Grace Kennedy Group, also announced that if for any athlete breaking any of the 200 meters records at Champs, that school will receive $202,000, and this is in commemoration or in recognition of Grace Kennedy's 102 years of existence. Chris, I don't know if you remember or if you were around at the time, but in 1999, they merged boys and girls championships. Yeah?
I was around.
Oh, you were around?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So that was 1999. And since you were around and you're so brave, Jamaica College won the boys champs that year. Who won the girls champs?
1999. That would have been Homewood.
Get it out, Cliff. Get it out. The school, Elaine Walker was an outstanding athlete that year, and she.
Elaine Walker, St. Jago. St. Jago.
There you go. Monk Street and a Punk Street. That's what the Jago High School say. And yeah, so it was St. Jago. So this year would mark the 25th year of the merger of boys and girls championship. And they're looking forward to do something special. In fact, and let me just finally say this, they've gone ahead and trying to sort of internationalize, if I'm to coin a term. They're bringing 2 international officials. Yeah, one will be a start referee, and another will be on the jury of appeal.
Okay.
So they're trying to appeal to a more global audience because this event is grown pretty much out of the hands of ISA, so much so that a number of top broadcasters from around the world at one stage had inquired about bringing it amongst them ESPN and I suppose conversations are still going on in that regard. But the launch is still going on. I'm sure there are going to be more news coming out of it. But everything that's said here tonight will be in the morning, of course, at 6 o'clock with Tony Thomas. We'll capture everything. You'll hear the interviews and everything.
Before you go, Wayne, it is going to be a big track and field year for we here in Jamaica and nationwide in particular, because we have the exclusive radio rights to the Summer Games, and it will all be about the Olympics come later this year.
Yeah, for sure. And to say it's a big track and field year is almost like an understatement, but it is really going to be huge. At every opportunity I get, I try to talk it up because I think it's a major thing. And I think it's a major thing not just for sport in Jamaica, but for a radio station. The first time it's going to be attempted to be capturing, arguably, or probably without question, the biggest sporting event in the world. And so it's the nationwide 90 FM. It's just a pity that the listening public, don't know what's going on at the minute. I'm sure they will know as we go on in the intervening weeks and months as we lead up to it. But it's going to be a massive, massive, massive production. And we hope, Cliff, that we will deliver. And I'm confident we will deliver this Olympic Games in style. As I say, it's unprecedented that any radio station will have it all to themselves. But that's what Nationwide will be doing, and that's why they call it the revolution in media, revolutionizing
Absolutely.
the way we broadcast major big ticket global.
And you can tell the listeners
as big as you get them, and it's the event that presidents and prime ministers want tickets to go, if only for the opening ceremony. And it will be close to the River Seine in France, in Paris this year. So it's gonna be different, and the medal ceremony is gonna be under the Eiffel Tower, close on the boulevard of the Champs-Élysées. So there's so many special.
So you'll be, and you will be the luckiest man here because you will be going to Paris.
Yeah, thankfully, to the organization that I work with, it will be my third time in the French capital, so I have a pretty good idea of my way around that little boulevard where the Eiffel Tower is. I have that sort of advantage over a few of my media colleagues who keep talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it should be fantastic. Paris is buzzing every summer at the Olympic Games. And I heard Emmanuel Macron the other day. He was at the Elysee Palace, our Jamaica House. He was mentioning on the steps of the Elysee Palace the other day that this is easily the biggest thing that France will organize. And don't forget that France organized successfully and actually won the 1998 World Cup. And for the President Francois Macron to be saying
it's their first Olympics,
tells you the sort of event that Nationwide 90 FM will have all to itself from a radio standpoint this summer.
But is France hosting the Olympics for the first time?
No, it's not the first time they're hosting it.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose the enormity of the task this time, because I think the biggest budget ever to be spent on security will be at this Olympic Games. And of course, the kind of world we're living in at the minute, place. I mean, the geopolitics, the conflicts around it. And France, Paris, over the last couple of years, they've come under attack. I remember Charlie Hebdo, the magazine, the company that was attacked. The Bataclan, one of the biggest theater halls in the world, was attacked one night. I think 170 people died there, and they chased the hoodlums into nearby or neighboring Brussels, the capital of Belgium, and so on. And so France, they've been under a bit of pressure, and because of that, they've made security their priority, and it's huge. And as I said to you, it will be my third time in Paris. So I saw.
So you'll be brushing up on your French.
Go again?
You'll be brushing up on your French.
I don't need to brush up. You don't brush up on what you have already.
Ooh! 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 You're the man box me. I kick me get kick bugs. Yes, Monsieur. Monsieur. What is it, Monsieur? Walker.
Even sound funny thing. You sound like Trump.
Yes, sir. Okay, we're going to have the French competition now. Yes, who can speak the French better?
If I could just run back because the information is missing me.
All right. Take care of yourself, Wayne. The Frenchman,
all the best, thanks.
The Jamaican French journalist, Wayne Walker of Nationwide. So I was telling you, March 6, 1997, not 96. You know what happened in Jamaica?
No. You please tell me.
Michael Manley died on that day. Yes, at the age of 72. Yes, of cancer. Yes, and of course you know what role Michael Manley played in the development of Jamaica.
I don't think anybody in Jamaica would not know that role.
Yes, but he died on this day in 1997. Yes, this day, March 6, 1997. They're having a special commemoration activity at the Joint Trade Union Research and Development Center in Hope Pastures for the late Jamaican Prime Minister, Michael Manley. After the break, your calls.
The Integrity Commission Statutory Declaration form has changed. Download the new form and file securely within your organization before March 31. The time by the Integrity Commission is
7:38.
The National Land Agency, NLA, is advising members of the public to be cautious of persons or organizations purporting to be employees of the agency. All employees of the NLA must present identification when conducting business on its behalf. To confirm an officer's identity, you may contact the agency at 876-750-5263. You may also visit the agency's website at nla.gov.jm for further information. The public is also being reminded to report any suspicious activity to the nearest police station. The NLA appreciates your kind understanding and cooperation.
$7:39, and we're taking your calls, and we have Rob on the line.
Yes. Good evening.
Good
evening, Rob.
Oh, is that Siobhan?
This is Siobhan, yes.
Big up yourself, youth. And the elder statesman?
Is who that you're calling elder
statesman? The elder statesman, man.
Which part does Mr. Hughes believe is wrong, the elder or the statesman? Which one?
Both of them to go together, man. Both of them go together, the elder statesman, man.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Cliff. Let me make it very clear, Cliff, that I am calling from Everett Warmington's constituency. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
And I must say to Michael Jackson, she have no right. She didn't put Everett Warmington in the parliament. So she have no right to be asking for him to be removed on the basis of some utterances he made last week. He has been already punished for it by them taking away his portfolio. And I also think that the Prime Minister, he was a bit hasty and high-handed in taking away the man's portfolio. As he stated in the Parliament, there is nowhere in the provision where he is allowed to allocate funds to the council. Was that what he said, sir?
You tell me.
No, I think I don't know if I interpreted it right, but he said there's no provision where he can allocate funds to the council. So, in other words,
he said no PNP councillor is going to spend 1 cent of his money.
Yes, but is there any provision where he is allowed to allocate funds to the councillors? I'm asking you, Mr. Cliff.
The government of Jamaica.
If the answer is no,
the government of Jamaica.
Cliff, if the answer is no, those were just empty words then.
No.
Those words were not empty. Those words had meaning.
The government of Jamaica, at both the central government level and the local level, have responsibility to spend. And at the central level, Mr. Warmington is a cabinet minister. And a cabinet minister with responsibility for works, a portfolio that requires, as the name suggests, the expenditure of billions of dollars, yes, for capital works and a myriad of other things. And for the minister to say, listen, no whatever PNP councillor is going to spend 1 cent of his
Let me ask you
money.
this, Cliff. If it was a PNP minister of government said that,
Same principle.
No,
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
asking. Listen to me. Do you think the PNP would have acted and fired him like in that hasty manner in which our prime minister fired such veteran and hard-working man over the years?
First of all, I don't know why you say hasty. Mr. Warmington has had a history, a pattern of behavior.
But let me tell you, you don't know the man, Cliff. Mr. Warmington bark is more than his bite.
Well, I would know. I have to go.
I deal the man because the man is
I am not close to him as you are, sir. We have to go by what we hear from him and what he does. And Mr. Warmington has, over the years, been rude in his conduct as a public official in Jamaica, sir. In fact, you cannot fairly accuse the Prime Minister of being hasty. The Prime Minister can be fairly accused of putting up with Mr. Warmington for far too long and should have axed him long ago.
Let me tell you, Cliff, if you're about saying everybody has a different mind, everybody has different personality, you know.
Of course.
And the non-personality is not one like a Derek Smith who is very calm, and you're going to have different personalities
and you have
to deal with.
And therefore you live or die by that personality and how that shapes your conduct. And Mr. Warmington, without doubt, sir, yeah, his conduct has been obnoxious.
But you know, he's a hard worker, though.
I am told that.
Yes,
and
he's
I'm
a very
told
hard worker in his community.
Yes,
in his constituency.
I'm told he's a very good MP, and that's why he continues to win the support of the people of Southwest St. Catherine in 5-4 general elections now.
I asked a question, I didn't answer the question. Do you think if it was the PNP, they would have fired they would have fired that minister?
I don't know, sir. I don't know.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't. I can't predict what they would have done. Yeah, I can't predict what they would have done. Yeah? You're asking me to predict, and I can't do that. Yeah? But what the Prime Minister did was correct.
So he's allowing civil society to...
No, the Prime Minister is Prime Minister of Jamaica. And he has to set standards. And I think, sir, the Prime Minister, if there's a criticism I have of the Prime Minister, is that he took too long.
And on the question of Michael, he didn't comment on Michael Jackson.
Michael what? I said it this morning or yesterday morning in my commentary. Well, let me repeat what I said. Michael Jackson, as an advocate, can call for Mr. Warmington all she wants. But she must be reminded, yes, that Mr. Warmington was sent there by the people of Southwest St. Catherine. And under our parliamentary system of government, only the people can take him out.
Right.
Right? And the people have had several opportunities, over a long time. They know who they have as member of parliament. He has been behaving like this for a long time, and they keep on sending him back to the parliament. So Miss Jackson can call all she wants. It's of no moment, because Mr. Warmington is there as a result of the will of the people of Southwest St. Catherine.
And his supporters do not watch personality. You watch the work the man does. At the end of the day, it's the work that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
Have a good night.
You too. 14 minutes going up to 8 o'clock. Faithful.
Good evening, Shavan. Good evening, Mr. Youth.
Good evening, sir.
During the World Festive season, I've heard a word from Keisha. How is she doing?
Keisha?
Yeah, Keisha. I've heard a word from how is she doing?
No, man. She was on during the Christmas season. Yes, man.
No, I'm talking about the election.
Oh, I haven't heard her in this election season.
Never was on with you today. I think Mr. Chang has done well as General Secretary. But I think we need new thinking. So I endorse that for wish. Never have said.
Neville?
I think they should.
Neville. Who is Neville?
Hello?
Who is Neville?
Hello?
Who is Neville? You said Neville.
Neville was on with you this morning on your show. Neville from St. Mary.
Oh, nephew.
Right.
Oh, I heard Neville. Sorry.
Neville. Oh, that's right. And he was asking for Mr. Vaz to be General Secretary.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chang have done well, but I think we need a different. I think they need a different style, different, and I think Vaz would fit that purpose very well.
Mm-hmm.
Within Haiti, I think Haiti have a very acute problem in the sense that they don't want the American inside here, and I'm not sure they can fix it themselves. So I don't know how it's going to fix, but I think they have a big problem. And what struck me and surprised me is the president that they killed. They arrested his wife. Say she was involved.
No, they haven't arrested her. They have, what would you call it? Indicted her that she is to be charged.
That's a proper term, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that was very shocking and surprising.
Yes, it was.
And that her husband dead, she was there mourning and
But don't now assume that she is guilty of the charge, sir.
I agree. But when,
right?
Yeah, I agree. But from the fact that they could look in her direction.
Yes.
From the fact they could look in her direction.
But then I would still urge caution, sir. Well, still urge caution.
What do you think the Caribbean can do for Haiti?
The Caribbean?
Right.
I think the Caribbean can play a mediating role in facilitating international help for Haiti. Yes? What I think is a big challenge for us is the extent to which Caribbean people, Caribbean countries, have an appetite to put boots on the ground in Haiti. I don't think there's an appetite for that, because when you put boots on the ground in Haiti, some of those men, soldiers, women are going to die.
True.
And I don't detect that there's any appetite for Jamaicans or Barbadians or Trinis to go to Haiti and we have to bring home our sons or daughters or soldiers in body bags.
But I'm not too sure that Haiti, not even Haiti want outside help. They want the problem to solve, and they hope they could solve it by themselves. But I'm not sure they can, and I'm not sure they want outside help. Because, for sure, I don't think they want America inside here.
Well, it's clear they don't want America.
Right.
And they don't want the French.
And they don't want United Nations either.
Well, I don't... And exactly.
Right. Because they have a bad incident with United Nations.
With the cholera issue.
Right. And after the earthquake and all these things.
How is that
problem going to solve?
I don't know.
It's a very, very sticky wicket.
Because I don't know which country is going to say, okay, we have to go in now, and we will have to be prepared to face the reality that some of our men are going to die.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chevron?
All I know is that power abhors a vacuum, and I don't believe Haiti can be left in its current state to solve the problem on its own.
It cannot.
Because
but then you cannot escape. If you are going to restore security,
it will come at a cost.
It will come at a cost. And who is prepared to pay that cost, especially when it comes to lives?
I mean, we must be reminded that Haiti is a member of CARICOM.
Yes.
And as much as
Jamaica's one of Jamaica's closest neighbors.
And as much as we try to play it down, CARICOM is a union of our creation that we must honor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it falls to the Caribbean community to solve this issue, despite the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Because
hold on, Faithful. That is good, Chevron. But then when you sit in that chair and you have to make that decision,
it comes with consequences.
It comes, and what level of consequences, and who
people will die,
and then who is going to take that rap when people die? Yeah. You just look in our YouTube comment section here, yeah, where the view is, no, don't send a Jamaican soldier there.
But we mustn't be myopic when it comes to these things.
No, we cannot be, but we have to be realistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Haiti's problem, if it's allowed to deteriorate even further, will inevitably become the rest of the Caribbean's problem. It's unavoidable.
Well, yeah.
Yes, the final thing I would say that if we send people in there, after they're gonna get weary of us and want us out, and then they're probably gonna return same place where we're coming from.
Yeah. Thank you, Faithful. Carl, good evening.
Evening, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, Trevor.
Evening.
The question that the gentleman from my borderline here in St. Catherine was asking you, if it was PMPF, to like what Mr. Wellness did. I understand the question that the gentleman was asking. And I think the gentleman was asking, when somebody did give away 210 million United States dollars, we hear that it was youthful exuberance. Anyhow, there's another tape is out, Mr. Hughes, which the leader of the opposition said in Manchester that the PMP must get wicked for the labour right them. And if they want help, him can help to provide the help. I think I should try and get that tape on plate and ask Jackson what that means. And the next question was...
Where did you see that tape?
That tape, he must say that in Manchester.
When?
In a campaign, in a by-election.
Oh, and that tape is just coming to surface?
No, man, it's there around. It can produce to you if you want it to play. Tomorrow.
I would love to see it.
Yes, man. No problem. He say he can provide help. He say JLP is not going to just give up, so. You have to get wicked upon them. The PMP, they must get wicked upon them. And I never hear Jackson, now the Integrity Commission, call for him to step back. I have no problem in what the Prime Minister did to Mr. Warmington. I have no problem with that. I have no problem. And I heard Golding always talk about integrity. Somebody capture somebody land in Hanover, one in Clarendon, Golding, and them are run. Them are try to run by your party, Golding. So anytime you talk about corruption, Golding, tug up your big finger and look where it appoint to you. This is Mr. Hughes, we say we want to clean up this country now. I mean, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But some of the people when I speak about integrity, take a look at themselves. Two of them will capture people and run for the PMP ticket for the next general election. One in Hanover, one in Clarendon here. And if we want to say we all clean up, everybody I talk about illicit 6, take a look for your illicit 3 or 4. You could clean up the place as long as you don't want to clean up.
Yes, Carl.
And Jackson always a call for some foolishness. I heard her even this morning, or yesterday morning, talking about a bag of foolishness. But I know, and the Prime Minister put Mr. Warmington in St. Catherine now. And the people in St. Catherine put him there. So when Jackson talk rubbish, and that tape will provide, you get it to play. When him say, he can't provide help to. In the Southwest St. Andrew.
All right.
And she went and Jackson hear it. If she go say, he must retract it, or we must step aside.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's so we're going to leave it for the evening. Thanks to our producer, Dana Davey, our technical operator, Andrew Anderson, to our YouTubers, WhatsAppers, our tweeps, and members of the news and production team, led by our editor, Cara Powell. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Taboo topics. Voyagings after dark.
Riveting discussions.
Celebrity news and interviews.
Topics that are shunned by society.
And everything else in between.
Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boyatings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boyatings After Dark.
Nation